All hail. Welcome to another episode of Colton Comics Podcast. I am your host, Tyler Brown. I am joined again today by my usual cohorts, criminals, and mischievers, Sean Walsh, 747. How's it going, bud?
Did you say Colton Comics?
Colton Comics. Cult of Comics.
What show is
Cult
this?
of Comics. Cult of Comics. It's the
Mischief.
Cult of Comics. That's
Mayhem.
Mischief. Mayhem. Murder.
Shenanigans.
And obviously joined by my usual sarcastic asshole, Josh Craven. How's it going, bud?
Sarcastic asshole. Yeah.
Sorry, sarcastic daddy. Ooh. How's it going, man?
It goes. I've got chocolates, so it's all good.
That's the important thing. Yeah. How's the family?
Good. They took naps today, so they're in a pleasant mood.
You have to let me know when we're actually like taking you away from your family time, because like I feel
No, we're good. I set this time aside so that we can do this.
7 hours of just going on random tangents about everything.
Better you guys than them.
If the camera just turns
listen, I just am explaining to my 2-year-old about.
It's like, I love you, but during these 3 hours, Daddy does not love you. Leave Daddy alone.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that at all.
It's always like that.
If we turn the camera like slightly to the left, or Josh's, I don't know which way your camera's moved. That way, yeah. It's just like that scene.
This is a closet. I don't keep my kids in.
I know
the
that's
closet.
a closet, but like I don't know if like the way you're mirrored, like if your left is the left, I think it is on camera.
Did you just make a joke? Did you just make an offensive racist joke about British people? Is this because of Harry Potter again? You can't just assume every British person is Harry Potter, Josh. Living in the closet is not actually, it's only fictitious.
It's not a stairwell.
Listen, you're being English. Oh.
No.
Oh.
No, I was saying this is a closet.
Oh.
We're not cutting this
there's
out of
no
the show
kids
at all.
in this closet.
Oh.
Hi.
I was saying, like, if you turn the camera around that way, like it's just like that scene in Community where like Troy walks back into the apartment, like it's on fire.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
the kids are there, like stuff's on fire. His wife's like running around, like trying to put the fire out.
This is
and
the stuff
Josh
that
is
you
there,
want.
like comics.
This is what you want to have in a good podcast. Is just like a lot of interruptions, a lot of random tangents, like banging on walls.
The other day when like Erica just sort of appeared in the room grabbing the dog.
Oh God, yeah, and you guys barely even saw it. She just
I didn't see her until
That is
she
the
like
best
jumped up with the
time
dog.
for the camera to glitch. You just pause for a second and they're right there.
not even realizing it. God, that's too funny.
So anyway, what we're going to do today is
what are we going to do today? What are we
going to talk about comics? I do that too often. Like back in college, one of my professors is like, Josh, why are you giving me
Constantly
the middle finger? Right in the middle of a lecture, you're just flicking me off, dude.
Apparently that's a subconscious thing that you do sometimes when you're thinking about people. So basically you are telling me subconsciously, Tyler, go fuck yourself. Let's get started. Okay, well, let's get started. We're doing an episode about
Are you okay, Sean?
today.
Are you okay?
I'm just tired of Ty's bullshit.
Tired, Tyler. So what are we going to talk about that we read this week?
Let's go with the big book of the week, crossover
Cool.
number 4, written by
Great.
Donny Cates and art by Geoff Shaw.
I'm not going to lie. This book has actually made me want to drop most of my superhero stuff from the big two and just start collecting more Image and Dark Horse and stuff.
I feel like there's other comics this week that'll make you do that too.
Probably.
Yeah, not just this book, but like a lot of like the creator and stuff I'm reading does make me want to just drop the big two and go more independent routes.
Like, look, I got a big freaking Green Lantern tattoo on my arm. I obviously want to still collect my superhero stuffs, but I'm immensely enjoying some of these creator-owned books right now, and crossover is no exception to that rule.
God,
I'm not gonna lie though
about this issue.
Well, I was gonna say I'm a little bit surprised at the cock tease that was Madman and not Superman. I mean, what was up with the cape?
No, that was funny.
We still have this big like, oh, issue 6 is going to sell out thing. I think it's a misdirect. They knew what they were doing with that, and I think it's going to come back into play later.
Maybe.
Yeah, this Donny Cates can just pimp his stuff and some other creators' stuff. I hope
is
they
this
go
issue
big.
5 right now?
4. This is issue 4.
Okay.
So I mean, the what are these? Are they what was that team? The Marauders? Is that what they were?
No, it's not the Marauders. It's the shoot, I can't remember. It's in the compound. It's like a big joke too, because they're Donny Cates creations from Dark Horse a couple of years back.
Yeah. So Donny Cates is using one of his previous comics, as well as using. Don't
spoil it.
The paybacks.
All right.
Huh?
Paybacks.
The paybacks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. Fate part of the paybacks, or is that another Donny Cates separate thing?
No, well, so that's Doctor Strange supposedly, but I mean, it doesn't look like Doctor Strange.
He's Dr.
No,
Fate.
It's not Doctor Strange.
Mr. Fate. It's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
It's not Doctor
He
Strange.
literally has said.
No, a character referred to him as Doctor Strange. He's like, yeah, that's not me. The name's Dr. Black with a Q. I'm with the
Dr.
paybacks.
Black,
We're here to help.
I'm not familiar with that character whatsoever.
But I don't know if he's part of the. Is he part of the paybacks, or is he a separate Donny Cates?
He says I'm with the paybacks, but whether that just means he's teamed up with them or.
Well, I mean, we could figure this out by looking at the paybacks Wikipedia page.
That's too much effort.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Who's got time for that?
Listen.
Anyway, Madman. Not.
Go ahead.
It's not Madman, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is Madman. Sorry, I questioned myself if I was saying the right name. That's a different.
I question everything.
That's a different creator that he got permission to use in this comic. I think that's great.
Well, it was Mike Allred.
Yeah. On page.
I didn't know that was a Mike Allred creation, but he looks like one. Like looking at that, if you said guess which creator created that character, Mike Allred would have been in my top 3 guesses.
I'm immensely. I've never read anything by Madman, but I've always been curious because the costume design has been always very, very cool to me. But it's Mike Allred.
I'm more of a Freakazoid fan. You know who that is?
Yeah, he's obviously a ripoff
kind of based
Madman.
off of Madman.
Yeah.
Freakazoid appeared in Teen Titans Go.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so
it's a Warner Brothers
5,
creation, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Page 5, we've got this 1-page shot of what's going on inside of the bubble.
Yes,
we see some stuff in here.
Yeah, we get a few characters, a few notable things we might recognize.
What do you see?
We got the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
We've got like the aliens from War of the Worlds. I think that's what that mech is with the 3 legs. I'm trying to figure out who some of these other folks are. I'm not sure.
I think I see
whole
Hulk.
thing in the back is. It might
Hulk,
be Galactus.
Hulk is like an inch to the right of the Walker thing, the mech.
Yeah. Did you see the?
It's either Galactus or like the celestial things.
Yeah. In the reflection of the building, we can see the original. What was that? The USS Enterprise.
Yep.
From the OG Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
We can see one of the Chitauri spaceship things coming out of the portal.
The giant whale sort of thing.
Yeah, the one that like Hulk punched and Iron Man was like, I'm bringing the party to you. How's that a party?
Yeah. There's the Quinjet, the X-Men's Quinjet.
Is that what that ship was? Because it looked notable, but I couldn't place what it was.
That looks like the X-Men's ship that they fly around in. I think that's a Quinjet too, isn't it? Like you can Google that from any of the X-Men movies. That's like the ship they use.
Yeah, it looks a lot like it. It reminds me of the ship from Phantom Menace.
No.
It looks more like the X-Men one.
Yeah.
Similar shape.
Do you guys think all these characters are going to make more appearances later on?
Maybe if we ever get inside the bubble.
Yeah. And then obviously this is like the as well, like the Watchmen squid invasion as well going on.
Okay, yeah.
Watchmen squid invasion.
Yeah.
You know, one of the tropes that I just hate is when somebody needs to talk, somebody has the actual solution or answer to what they should be doing, and they can't get a word in edgewise. So this guy, what's his name? Eric? The guy with the golden gun?
Yeah.
He keeps trying to suggest things, and everybody keeps talking over him. It's such an annoying trope. Like, just get it out there, man, or don't try and get it out there at that point.
Yeah, it is a little bit tired, but I didn't mind it too much in this. I feel like it didn't detract from it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then after that bit, we get the boy's father is beating a superhero in the basement. Well, it's not even a superhero, it's a real person dressed in a costume.
Oh, is that what it is? I thought that was like just some random super that he grabbed.
No, because look at the coloring. It doesn't have like the dotted effect.
But who is he dressed as?
Good point. I don't think it's a real character.
No.
I think it's just a random superhero costume. This guy hates him that much.
Cosplaying, okay.
Yeah. You know what I've noticed with Donny Cates when it comes to religious figures in all of his books is they're always evil.
Okay.
I guess living in Texas, that is quite a religious state, is it not?
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's from a pretty religious part of the South, so I'm not necessarily surprised.
Yeah, he's probably seen like the dark, like some of the darker sides of religion. And
I mean, do you really blame him? A lot of the white preachers from the South are definitely, I wouldn't say every single one of them, obviously, but I mean, he definitely has a characterization that he's used in his storytelling that I don't really have an issue with.
Like the mega church kind of evangelical.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Which, by the way, do they have mega churches in England? No, of course not, because they don't. It's things that you get in America. Walmart, mega church.
Fun story. One time I was walking through the city of Birmingham, and that's Birmingham, UK, not Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah.
And there was this building with like a little like sign outside that said free personality tests inside. And I was like, oh, that's a cult. And then I walked through the building.
Oh, was that Scientologists?
The doors were open, and inside there was a sign that said the Church of Scientology. And I was like,
of course.
Yeah. I was like,
they're in every city.
On that. Yeah.
Yep.
But it was like free personality test. And I was like, cult, look through the door.
Cult.
Church of Scientology.
All right.
Cool.
Wow, we did this results. Sorry, go ahead.
They're going to teleport to I was going to go on. They're going to teleport to a museum with all sorts of artifacts that they've collected.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
boy.
it looks like the Hall of Justice from the outside.
Yeah. Let's warm up
it
the
totally
references
is.
we see here.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
One thing I'm going to mention is a lot of the characters and a lot of the things we see are mashups of...
Just slightly off.
Yeah. They're not 100% comic depictions. So in this first page, what we've obviously got Magneto in the bottom right of the first panel.
Obviously.
Yeah. Just behind that big... Do we recognize the mech?
No.
So just to the left, it looks like either a Batman suit or I'm thinking maybe Catman kind of recolored.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that big suit kind of looks maybe like Thanos's armor, or maybe like what was the big robot from the first Thor movie?
The Destroyer.
From the first Thor
movie.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Possible. At the top, we have one of the...
Well, he is doing Thor right now.
Yeah. Right, hanging from the ceiling, there's one of the Sentinels from X-Men.
Yeah.
Oh. Cool.
Also, behind the mech, just sort of tucked around the corner, was it going to be Brainiac in that Tim Burton Superman movie? It was a robot spider.
Robot spider.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
I don't know.
I thought it was some sort of like insect vehicle sort of thing.
It like mine was a reach.
Like maybe from like He-Man or something.
It's possible.
Possibly. So
I'm struggling to see some of these stuff at the back here.
All right.
Focus.
I kind of want to move forward with this and get to the point where they have infiltrated a compound that basically is a collection of superhero stuffs and everything. And you'll notice that all of the designs for everything are very like carefully made in such a way that they aren't exactly what you know that they are, or they're shrouded in some sort of way. Like if you look at the Captain America shield, there's not a full depiction of the star, so it's not a complete ripoff.
Yeah.
So there obviously still is some issue with getting some of the likeness and getting some of the permissions.
That Batmobile is you can't tell. You know it's the Batmobile.
Like it feels like it has to be.
That's the Tim Burton Batmobile.
It looks like that Michael Keaton Batmobile. Yeah.
There's also the Doctor Doom Darth Vader mashup.
Yeah, which
you've got you've got the mask, but it's orange.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, so they can do that because that's a Dark Horse character creation as well. So they definitely have permission from Dark Horse.
Okay.
That's not
this big like stacked like superhero guy, that's Homelander, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think so? That kind of looks. I mean, it does look a little bit like it.
Have you read the comic?
Have I read the boys comic?
Yeah,
I've read some of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, Homelander is just this giant dude, whatever in it.
Well, I mean, I feel like the show does a pretty damn good depiction of that costume like design. To me, I'm looking at this. This actually looks more like some of that 90s image superhero stuff, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. Also, at the end of this page, we have the Jim Carrey mask, but it's orange.
You already said that.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
We've got the Tesseract cube, maybe.
Maybe, but it's a cube. What are you gonna do? I mean, at that point, like, there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
Do we want to get to the?
There's Mjolnir just cut off on the right hand
Really?
side of that first panel.
Oh yeah, you're right.
okay.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. This is what I love about
definitely
this. Okay, look,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
one of those comics that like you read because you're like, I really love comics, and this is a big like, oh, you
And
love comics? Well, here's all the things you love in comics.
Issue 2 as well. Like Donny Kate saw like all the reception online where people were like analyzing the director's office.
There was,
And he was like, "Oh, I'm going to do a whole issue about this."
yeah,
Like,
there was one
voice
issue
references.
of Birthright where they go into somebody's secret lair, and they just let the artist go wild, and they just had references to anything in media. Like they had like the crocodile with the clock from Peter Pan. They had, you know, like the sword and the stone. It was just from all over the place, just things that the guy had collected across his adventures.
I like
a little
that.
I Spy sort of thing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite like running trends at DC is whenever an artist does like a 2-page spread of the Batcave, it's always got a load of different Batmobiles that have been in
I
movies,
love that.
TV shows, and
Mhm.
cartoons stuff. Like, yeah, I love that.
I love
All right.
watching artists like get that chance to draw that, but mostly, you know what my favorite thing I've ever seen in the Batcave is? The giant penny.
Yeah, the Penny and the T-Rex
Always
are
that's
two,
it.
the
combination.
two mainstays.
Did you see what Bendis said about that?
Maybe a
He says-
giant penguin.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great. Bendis wrote in Batman Universe that it's because Bruce Wayne just really likes dinosaurs. I love that. I just think that's so funny.
I can't remember. It was potentially a Fact Fiend video where he analysed like the Penny and the T-Rex and tried to work out where their first appearance was.
Bill Finger.
Yeah, but like
Bill
the
Finger.
actual
Yeah. Oh, the issues. Okay.
they showed up in issues where like Two-Face tried to crush someone with a giant penny.
Yeah, it had to have
And-
been like something the bad guys had used. Like a
Yeah.
prop.
Yeah. It's really like famously liked to use really big dramatic creations. There was like an issue where it's Batman and Robin on a giant piano and they're like hopping on the keys trying to move around on it. I love that stuff.
I can't remember if it was ever a real
Do we want to
scene.
get to this big surprise reveal?
Just while you're on the Batman piano thing, I can't remember if it was ever actually a scene in the show or if it was like during the intro of Rick and Morty where there's one scene where they're like tied to a piano, like all the like hammers are coming down, it's like killing people. Like
that actually,
tied up.
that is a thing. That was a big reference to that old style of comic book back when Bill Finger was writing Batman. Yeah, absolutely.
And they incorporated that into one of the Stinger endings too.
I love that shit. Yeah.
Was it the ending of Rick and Morty when they had the hammer thing?
Yeah.
Like,
so we meet this lady. She tells him like she's been expecting them. She was told they were coming, and they fight some guards off. Madman does some crazy stuff with a yo-yo to take these guards out.
With a yo-yo.
Cool. Yeah.
That was a cool page. Like it was a 2-page spread of him just
that was a
yo-yo
really cool page.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah.
So
Jeff
she's
Shaw,
leading
man.
them down the
I love
hallway. She's like, you got to come this way. And you can see Wolverine's arm with the claws out.
Yeah.
I don't know about this sword.
There's too many swords to take a guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that actually leads to the big reveal at the end, which of course we kind of should have seen coming because it's Donny Cates, but
he did say on Twitter, if there's one thing you need to read before crossover, it's God Country.
Yeah. Because didn't we see this sword in the office of the one FBI guy?
I think it was potentially a painting on the wall? Give me a second.
Oh, okay.
I've got the issue here.
Because we see like just a portion or the side of the sword in the shadows.
Oh, yeah,
maybe Valifax.
It's hard to tell, but it looks like it. But it's much It's not
Halifax-
focusing properly, but it's just there.
No, yeah. Halifax was in one of the more recent issues of Thor. I say recent; it was like 5 issues ago. When they goes and visits the armory to pick out a new hammer for Beta Ray Bill.
Okay.
And then we look.
Nice.
Yeah. He's been throwing it all around. God Country is a great comic, so I'm
glitching.
I don't blame him for doing it. It's very funny.
We're
Say that
losing you,
again.
Ty.
Don't go towards the light.
Welcome to the show.
I didn't realize we were getting a cameo by Richard Nixon. That's hilarious. That's brilliant.
We're gonna keep this in.
For me, whatever. Let's move on.
Oh, there he is.
You're back.
There I am.
There he is. All right, we get a cutaway just to tell you what the hell is Valofax.
And what the fuck is going on? Well, let's tell you, buddy.
Yeah.
Have you guys read God Country?
Yes.
I haven't.
This. Oh,
It's
you're a
really
terrible person. It's so good.
I know.
No, he's
I know,
not.
I
Well,
know.
yeah, he's so bad.
Like this made me want to dig out my. I've got a number 1 somewhere, and I can't find it. Like I pulled out all my boxes, gone through them, and it's nowhere. It'll
It's
be
really hard
somewhere.
to find.
It'll be somewhere, but I can't find it
Yeah.
at the minute.
So
It's a
in the
hard
middle
comic
of
to go find and buy.
in the
It's
middle
on-
of
it's online for
crossover,
about
we get an
$60.
advertisement for God Country. Just gonna pimp my stuff right here, and then we'll go back to the story.
This isn't from God Country. This is a new scene set in God
Yeah.
Country world.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but it's a way of like, I'm gonna
yeah,
take these
it's
4 or
a-
5 pages just to pimp my other property.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you haven't read God Country, here's the long and short of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good pretty good summation of what we need to know.
Mhm.
Man, they really use this ellipses a lot.
What do you mean?
The 3 dots,
Yeah.
they put this in a lot of places in this comic.
I've
It
been meaning
seems
to ask
very
about
important.
that.
It's at the
yeah,
end of every issue.
Yeah.
They use it for any sort of cut.
Do you think that this is referencing like?
Well, that's the main girl's name.
Well, yeah. But I feel like this doesn't strike me
feel
as one of
like,
those things that's.
I feel like a lot of comics probably do use it, and we just don't pay attention. It's just here because obviously it's the logo of the comic and the character's name. We're just
Mhm.
picking up on it a lot more.
Do you think
they
that this
put it
is going to be
right
referencing
there.
something going on with the like crossing over of the worlds or something?
I can't theorize on it.
Because like when I'm
sure
seeing
it will mean
it,
something later.
sure. I mean, right now, what I'm thinking of 3 different worlds coming into continuity, but it also makes me
Yeah.
think of like the sun, the moon, and the earth, being in rotation with each other. What are we looking at?
Just the 3 dots right there with the door opening.
Oh, very good. Very
Covering up
good to
spoilers
spot.
here.
Very good recognition there, Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then on this last page, we do get a few other sort of characters that are mashups of other characters.
Yeah. What a weird project.
Because that one in the center looks like a cross between Cyclops, Spawn, and Punisher.
The one in the back.
The one
Not the one on the table.
strapped to the table in the back, not the one on the table laying down, but like the one upright in the back, in the middle of the 3.
The one on the table is just crazy. Like they've got, maybe it's like the Max.
He's got Spider-Man's hand, Captain Cold's wrist sleeve thing.
The Max's arm and chest, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know who the boobs are from.
The boobs.
The boobs. Who's got orange boobs?
Donald Trump.
Thing. What was the female thing?
The thing S.
Donald Trump. I hate you.
Is your audio that delayed? Or does it just take
No,
that
I
long
just
to
took my-
process what I said?
My brain was just like Donald Trump. Orange boobs. I picked it
Yeah.
up. Orange boob. I get it.
All right.
I'm smart.
Yeah. Anyway, we see that the FBI guy, is reporting to the president, and he's kind of playing both sides. Like he's got, what's the kid's name? Eric. He sent Eric on the mission to get things done. so that they don't have to do this the amalgam program.
Operation.
Because they're making these amalgams out of these superheroes.
Amalgamation.
Yeah. And then we get a 2-page spread for a preview of the next episode. Like they're going towards the bubble.
Yeah, that's based on a cover of God Country. It had like a double pull-out cover for the second issue.
Can you see the 3 dots there?
Do you see?
We can. Thank you for pointing that out.
Do you want a cookie?
Yeah. Elle doesn't not Elle. What's the little girl's name?
The little girl with the superpowers?
Yeah.
Shit, I forget.
She speaks once in this issue.
Yeah, and she's like, nope. Laser eyes. And by the way, I just gotta say,
she does talk right at the beginning of the issue.
Okay, I want to point this out really quick. Look at her laser eyes. You tell me that those aren't the meme laser eyes.
Yeah.
Those are totally, that's that filter. That's what that is.
Yeah.
I love it.
The little girl's name is Ava.
Ava. Okay. Ava. Okay.
Eva.
Steve.
And the kid
I'm
is
really
not
enjoying
called,
this still.
the kid's not called Eric, he's called Ryan.
Close enough.
Not even close, Josh.
I got one letter right.
You just gotta get a random white person name. That's what that sounds like.
John.
Tron.
No.
John. Ron.
All right.
Anyway, this issue is good. Donny Cates is continuing to fire on all cylinders with this series.
Yeah. I'm ready for the next
using
one.
That phrase.
Give me another.
Firing on all cylinders.
Firing on all cylinders.
Well, no, I don't...
Give her all she's got, Captain.
I'm giving her all she's got, Captain.
How else do you express that the writers put all their effort into it? They're delivering the highest quality they can.
I would say that they're delivering the highest quality that they can.
Firing on all cylinders sounds a little more interesting. He's trying really hard, guys.
He's not writing it in. He's not phoning it in.
He is succeeding in his endeavors. Coming this summer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Fuck, you guys froze around me again. Go ahead.
Moving on to the next thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Department of Truth number 6 by James Simon IV. And
was so good.
And art by Elsa Charretier.
This art is actually I'm fond of this art a lot.
This was a well-needed issue.
Agreed.
The opening of this gives us a lot of context to what's been going on, a lot of the sort of history of how this started.
This is making me love this book so much more, as time goes on. I was halfway through this. I was like, this seems kind of predictable. But by the end of it, I was like, oh, fuck it. No, this is my pick of the week at that point.
Yeah, lots of answers in this.
The first 10 issues deal with Lee Harvey Oswald after straight after the JFK assassination, where the Department of Truth fake his death to take him underground.
Did you mean the first 2 issues?
Did I say issues? I meant the first 10 pages.
Okay.
Sorry. Well, we get given what happened after him when he was taken underground, and he was like, you're joining the Department of Truth. Here's our history. Read it. Mm-hmm. See how the truth of the world has been manipulated over the years.
So I'm getting maybe some Mike Mignola vibes from this art.
I'm not really saying that, but okay.
I think when it goes in...
I'm also thinking of one of the artists from before Watchmen, but I can't figure out which...
Darwin Cook.
Okay.
Yeah. He's kind of a cross between Mignola and Darwin Cook, I'd say.
I was going to say actually Bruce Timm.
I don't know if I see that.
Mostly because of the colors, I think, is why I'm seeing that. But
yeah, the colors, I think, and the ink work are more sort of Darwin Cook reminiscent.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. I definitely see that there. The designs in this really made this pop for me. Also, is this true? Is this a thing that actually happened as far as that, boosting another 300 years outside of the Roman Empire?
Probably not.
That's I've seen that pop up in other things.
Really?
I told you guys about this comic called Millennium, several months ago. Just this
You mentioned it.
large. Oh my God, the art is so good on that.
Okay.
But one of the mysteries that they're trying to solve is what's going on, and as the new millennium approaches, and at the end they realize that it's already come and gone. They were off by years and years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, the end of the world's already been happening, kind of thing. So it's kind of in reverse of what's going on here. Like, oh, we forgot to count some years or something. But people trying to manipulate the calendar in order to serve their purpose.
Yeah, it's been a few years, if not a few years. My brain has fallen asleep. Give me a second.
That's okay. I forgive you.
It's been a few days since I read this now. I read it on Wednesday. It's now Sunday. They say that the reason the years were added is so... This is a word I've always read, and I've never seen it said out loud. Charlemagne. Okay.
Charles Magna.
It's a word I've always seen
that's
written
fine.
down.
That's totally fine.
I've never heard it said out loud.
We need to give him shit all the time.
Charlemagne.
Charlemagne.
Charlemagne. Okay.
I want you to remember this,
Charlemagne, the Roman
when you
Emperor.
Give us shit about how we we removed the U
Aluminium
from words. Aluminium.
Yeah. I knew where you're going with that. So they basically say Charlemagne never existed, and the 300 years was added to explain why there was like this historic Roman emperor that no one remembers.
Well, they wanted the year 1000 as a significant point. Like, it's the year 700, whoop-dee-dee. But if it was the year 1000,
and they're going to dig up Charlemagne's grave, and if they're essentially saying like, if his legend spread far enough, there will be remains.
And if they believe hard enough that this is a real thing that happened in the past,
they will fly and be a real boy.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
And so this guy this priest has come here, to investigate, similar to how the Department of Truth works now.
Mm-hmm.
He's not part of the Department of Truth. He's on the other side.
He's part of the Enlightened.
Yes, and by the end of this issue, we discovered exactly. And
this episode felt like this issue felt like Assassin's Creed.
I don't disagree with that. I feel like there's a lot of this that I can tell that Tynion put a lot of thought into this. I can tell that he put, down to the little details, like her acknowledging that a monk wouldn't wear that type of robes, that he would live in a life of poverty. Yeah, that they were too well threaded or what have you. We get the appearance of the woman with the X'd out eyes wearing red, and her continuous existence in this universe. The reference to the mythos of Romulus and Remus with the Roman Empire and how that bolstered the country's exactly, which was meant to bolster the mythos about the founding of the land, so that way it can make them feel empowered, and how that we're kind of seeing that cycle back to now. There's a lot of thought that went into this, and I love that the art doesn't detract from that at all, and it enhances it more than anything.
Yeah, I love the change in art style to do this.
This issue
story
couldn't have been told with Martin Simmons on art.
Even if it had been done with his artwork, I don't think
it could have had the sort of fairy tale aspect it had with his.
That is exactly what I was going to say. The fairy tale kind of feeling with it. I actually got Michael Avon Oeming vibes with this as well.
Yes, yeah, I see that. This reminds me a little of have you read any about Norse mythology comic going on right now?
Yes.
Yeah, just like some of the sort of colors and like the general vibe of the artwork reminds me a bit of that. Like, this couldn't have been told with like the Martin Simmons style artwork.
Now, are you talking about like the P. Craig Russell artwork, the Mike Mignola artwork?
I don't remember. Like,
there's a lot of different
I'm not saying it directly feels like a specific art, but I mean, like, that book couldn't be told with like Martin Simmons on art.
I see what you're saying.
It needs that slightly more fairy tale, fantastical kind of artwork.
Sure. Okay.
Like this very bright fantasy-esque style.
Like, if you had told me that a year or two ago that a James Tynion, the fourth book, would be my favorite book being put out by Image Comics at this point, I would have been like, maybe. I don't know. I like some of his stuff, but like this,
that guy that made Mr. Freeze's wife not his wife. What?
Yeah, that whole thing.
That was a weird choice.
That was a weird choice.
Where's the discussion about the lady with the X's? I'm trying to
So
find that
when
page.
she shows up, she goes away, talks, and then like 2 or 3 pages later, he mentions her, and then the old woman says, "You need not know or worry about her or what she is," something along those lines.
She's not part of my thing. She's just somebody.
So she's a recurring creature in this battle against information, basically, and the control of information. So I actually want to look more into this, what she had brought up about the manipulation of numbers, because I feel like that's true, that numbers weren't being utilized by the church until like much later.
I've always wondered about that.
Really?
How, well, everybody has their own, different cultures have their own calendars. I've been curious about calendars, and before they adapted to using this calendar, what other calendars were used before.
Yeah,
we were on like the Gregorian calendar, and then there was the Julian calendar.
Exactly.
The other types of keeping track of time, what kind of things they'd used before, and when things kind of became mainstream, like this is the mainstream calendar that we're going to follow.
Okay.
Yeah, Tynion must have done a lot of research on a lot of topics for this book.
It feels like it. I wonder if he did pulled The Martian and just Googled all this stuff, or did he talk to people?
Maybe, because that's the thing with comic writers, they have to do their own research. Like you have a movie writer, they have all these assets, they have all these people they can talk to, they have their team of researchers. But I think it was the name escapes me now. Identity Crisis.
Brad Meltzer?
Yeah, he said that writing comics was so hard because it was either him or Scott Snyder. I don't know why I'm getting the two sort of mixed up. It was one of the two that said like writing comics is hard because when you want to tell a cool story, you have to go out of your way to research it in its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Brad Meltzer because I think with his novels, like the publication, like the publisher helps him out with research and stuff.
See, that would make sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this old lady, the witch, is part of the Enlightened, which they realize is the Illuminati. So she's part of a group. She's not the only one. And she says, we've, embedded ourselves everywhere.
Yeah. So she had definitely started the organization with somebody else because she was an extension of Caesar. And then at the end, when, spoiler alert, he kills her, and she says, "Hail Caesar." Did you notice the hand movement that she did? Was that a Hail Caesar, like salute? Or was that just a waving?
I think
of the
so.
hand?
I think that her arm out like that. Yeah.
Because they didn't do the Nazi salute back then, like the way that it was done in Germany.
Hail Caesar.
Yeah, it was just kind of like in movies, they even just kind of like raise the hand, like you're praising.
Yeah, because her right hand stays in the same place, but her left hand just sort of goes out straight, it looks like.
Yeah, straight out.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
James
do you
Tynion
think
is
the Enlightened, the Illuminati are the Department of Truth? Or do you think the church is trying to create that big lie? So I don't think they're part of the Department of Truth.
Illumination by definition means to reveal. So I think that means that the Department of Truth is the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm
getting. What were you going to say?
Yeah. I was just going to say James Tynion is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I said this was a
Save
great
a line,
week.
Bart.
Yeah. We got a lot of great stuff this week.
No, it's been great. Yeah. No, the content
really
that's
strong
being
week.
put out. Yeah. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just briefly mention Haha number 2 from last week.
Haha.
Mm-hmm.
Haha. So this was written by W. Maxwell Prince and art by Zoe Thorogood.
Yeah.
And this was much more unique from the first issue, I felt.
I agree. I think
It
that
is
this
a
was a
little
little bit
different.
stronger.
Yeah. It was a little more psychological because the first issue was just kind of a retelling of the plot from Joker.
Yeah, it's very much a we live in a society kind of story. I also really dig this art style.
Yeah, this art style is really good. I love the hair.
Yeah. I'm actually going to show this to a few people. This is different. I don't know. I guess I was very surprised to see this because I mean I like to go into things not knowing much about it. So seeing that there was a cabaret style kind of story tied in with the clown content, I was like, oh
Yeah,
okay.
well, it starts off at a roadside burlesque show, which is just kind of a strip joint, basically.
Yeah.
And we see this young lady out back sort of getting her makeup done, ready to go out on stage. And her name is Rudolph.
Which is really funny.
Rudy. Yeah. And yeah, then has a flashback to her as a child. Like, her and her mum ran away. She was living with her dad because her mum was psychologically unstable. Yeah.
She draws clown makeup on her face and just keeps it there.
Her
all
mum's
the time.
dressed as a clown, and she gives her daughter like a little clown nose because obviously
her
Rudolph
mom is dressed normally. It's just the face is made up like a clown.
They go on a road trip across the country to Funville.
Mm-hmm.
And along the way, they stop.
Go ahead.
I was going to carry on the story along the way. They stop off at a motel. But if you got a point.
Well, no, I wasn't going to make a point. I guess I was going to ask, like, was it insinuated or was it directly said that disorder or something?
Sorry, say again.
Can you say that again? We lost you.
I was asking, was it directly said or was it insinuated that she has like bipolar disorder or something?
I don't know if it's bipolar. It's definitely something.
Borderline personality disorder, schizophrenia, something.
Yeah, the doctor said my mum was crazy and my daddy didn't argue about diagnosis.
Yeah.
And we see her dad and his friend talking, and it's like she's off her meds, doing God knows what to make money, dressing like a goddamn clown.
Yeah.
They don't really say.
Well, because it sounds, I mean, the way it is behaved,
kind of leave it ambiguous.
I'm sorry. Maybe, I guess. Well, with bipolar disorder,
they
there's not a lot of that spontaneity.
They specify she was.
I think
on the police
maybe
report,
she's got like
PTSD.
And this is just some sort of coping thing.
It mentions that the police report about her kidnapping says that her mother is smack dab in the middle of a severe psychotic break.
Yeah, because she talks about, she's seen things that would make your dick shrivel itself right back up into your stomach and hide for dear life. So this could just be,
congratulations, you just made your kid cry.
I think it was my son just yelling out for something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because of that what you just read aloud. Inappropriate.
I'm so loud. Yeah. So anyway, her mom goes out in clown makeup and is a lady of the evening.
A night walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she comes back like bruised. And she makes her kid drive this time.
Mm-hmm.
How old is she there?
9.
Yeah, that's too young.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Well, I mean, she's too young entirely for the. I think that's the purpose of the plot, but it definitely hit a little bit more home.
Yeah, this is very much just showing how like trauma from your childhood can completely change, like shape your future, kind of.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I agree with what you said. I think that this was definitely more of a psychological. Like, don't get me wrong, the first one definitely had some psychological element to it, but this one had a lot more.
But this was the thing that made me think
this one's more real.
This feels more like
you're not just getting shot through the head and everything's fine.
Yeah, this felt more like Ice Cream Man, whereas it's weird.
It's just no werewolves.
Psychological, yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah, it is kind of heartwarming in a way. We have the mother and daughter bonding. There's that moment where they're playing with fireworks.
Yeah.
But then her mum brings back a guy to the motel room to make some money.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to hide in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she comes out and like tries to attack the guy, and the guy ends up hitting the girl, and then the mother like smashes the guy and she kills him. Yeah.
Mm.
They run away.
Yeah. So now they're not just on the run from a kidnapping, they're running away from the police.
Yeah.
And they get to they get to Funville, which was the amusement park from issue 1.
Yeah, that's a
And-
crazy connection.
Yeah, so I'm guessing Funville's going to be kind of the
Somehow
like
things
the-
are going to
the
have to like
binding.
tie together, maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think
There's
it's
going to be like a
Ice Cream
loose
Man,
connection to
where-
each thing.
with Ice Cream Man, like every issue is separate, but like the central figure is the Ice Cream Man that is interweaving all these stories.
Yeah,
And I think these are all going to be standalone stories, but they all have some connection to Funville. And
Well,
I'm
in the
not expecting a
beginning-
deeper connection, but I'm just expecting Funville to kind of
We
be the
will develop a
central-
pattern at least by issue 3.
In the first issue, they are kind of showing you around the circus tent and everything, and showing you some of the other clowns that are walking around. I'm wondering if that's going to be like the connecting point, because those were a lot of like detailed characters. I'm wondering if
Yeah.
that's just going to be like, hey, here's 6 stories revolving around 6 different clowns that you're going to see tied to this.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
obviously this is set after the first one because of like the park's closed now.
Yeah.
So we could get an
Or
issue
is
like start in the park or
Yeah.
I don't know. This one just kind of ends.
yeah, it cuts back to modern day of her about to go on stage and she goes out and she's dressed as a clown.
Yeah. Which
She just has the nose. She doesn't have the makeup or anything like she does on the cover.
yeah.
They do this for the cover, but they don't have her wearing the makeup.
Well-
No.
They don't, but I feel like it's meant to be like a recognition of like not just her trauma, but also like dealing with the fact that like she looks like her mom. I feel like that's what that's supposed to look like, because if your parent looks like, if you look like your parent, you're looking in the mirror and you're thinking, oh, well, I'm gonna be just like, I feel like that's what this message is saying with the cover. It's saying
definitely. I just
Yeah.
think it's weird that they didn't have her paint her face at the end.
yeah.
Yeah, I see. That would have they should have done. But yeah, the cover for the next issue looks really cool. It's like
Yeah,
much
the
more
mime.
animated. Yeah, it's a mime. And yeah,
It's cartoony.
Very cartoony, but
yeah,
you know what? I'm
it's a
actually
very
really-
different style.
I'm
This issue got
excited
me
to
excited for it.
continuously read all that Prince puts out. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. I was gonna say I like how it's doing a completely different shift in tone and style. Next issue. What?
Is Alexa talking to you?
Alexa, shut up.
Why
She
does she
started-
keep?
I said like the next issue, and for some reason that made her pipe up, and then she was like, "Oh, a domestic sheep is a form of domesticated mammal." In
Just unplug her.
Okay.
I saw a tweet by who was it, Sarah Silverman, I think, where she was like, "No human deserves to be spoken to the way I speak to Alexa."
Love it.
All right.
What's the next book?
We're
We
going to go
Live
back
number
to last
5.
week.
We Live number 5 by the Miranda brothers. I don't have a
Let's
lot
do it.
to add on this,
Okay.
except that I didn't enjoy this issue.
Ooh, unfortunate.
Yeah. I
She just
enjoyed
nabbed it.
parts of it.
Yeah, I like parts of it, but the ending just issue 1 started as like this beautiful like survival story going across country. Like issue 1, 2, and 3 were
The
all
end
about,
of
like
the world.
them. Yeah, even the music you listen to on the soundtrack, it was very somber. It was like, this is like a survival story, and then you get to the end of this issue, and it's like, oh no, it was a superhero story all along.
Yeah, all the kids that still have their armbands transform into superheroes. There's
Yeah.
this Cronenberg body horror.
Yeah, that
And
was
then-
messed up.
Yeah. They go into cocoons and they
Yeah, so
appear
a
back
lot
as
of them died.
grown-
A lot of the kids died,
Yeah.
and then some of them were chosen to survive.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I can't really tell what happened to the others. Maybe there are, they had the
You can
5
s-
superheroes land. I don't know if, the other ones.
I don't know. You can
Well,
see
okay,
a
so-
load of them floating around in the background, just dead. So whether there
Yeah.
are more,
Well, all of the kids, a lot of them do like that Cronenberg, they're bloody and whatnot. But Hototo gets wrapped in this black kind of goo and he crystallizes. So there's 5 5 cocoons and all of these bodies. Maybe these 5 are the only kids that actually, had the original armbands and hadn't been, had the armband transferred from one kid to another.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, It's just this wasn't the story I went in wanting or expecting. Like the first few issues, like the first issue as well, you had that haunting scene of like the guy who had hanged himself behind the room divider.
Yeah. It is weird that they did such a heavy story and then they did this.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one thing that kind of made me think that maybe this would continue, even though I wanted it, I kind of wanted this to be like a self-contained one story thing, but one of the things that kind of made me think that they would keep going was we touch on all these different things throughout the 5 issues, and it seems like they do a ton of world building.
Yeah.
Just to get to this point. Like they had a map of the entire world. They had, all these markers for different creatures we never encountered throughout this,
No, we encountered the lion.
Like the but there was something lion, that was like, there was like a rhinoceros, I think.
Yeah, there were like, I think,
or a giraffe
5,
of some sort.
Yeah, I think there were 5 creatures shown on the map.
Yeah. So we had the map, we had the creatures, and we focused on those. And each issue has like a different kind of threat that you would have to encounter. And we kind of slip through those. And I feel like, we could have done a whole arc for each of those, but we do one issue. So there's a lot more to say about each of them.
This is such a big world that they built, and for them to kind of limit them. Well, I don't want to say limit themselves, but I guess it feels kind of.
Yeah.
What can I say? I don't know.
There's an afterword that says the first season was pitched to Aftershock as the prologue to a new universe of superheroes.
Yeah.
And it's just, this wasn't the story you gave me in the first few issues. You gave me this hauntingly beautiful story of this group of people traveling. Yeah. It was so dark, it was so depressing. And for it just to turn around and be like, oh, it was an opening to a new universe of superheroes. It's going to have tie-ins, spin-offs, and all that stuff. It's just very
cheap.
Yeah. I'm going to check out the first issue of season 2 when it comes back, but I think I'm done.
Yeah. They write, it could have stayed forever as one self-contained story if the sales weren't on our side. What if?
Yeah. I wish it had a dark ending and everyone died, to be honest with you.
Just something.
Yeah.
I would have preferred an Interstellar ending, I think.
I think I would have just preferred anything other than what we got.
I had no problem with like the rest of the planets and the Intergalactic Council.
There's
all of that,
so
finding
much.
out who the people that sent these in, but
there's the creatures, you've got the flower zombies, you've got, I mean, so much that has been built into this, and the cult that killed the fucking kids. And now
it was so dark just to turn around and be like, oh. Superheroes.
Oh, there was what is that? City Metropolis 5. The tower, the giant wave that comes through here.
That's okay, take your time.
I'm just rereading this thing because it talks about one girl's journey, like, these people that we haven't seen. It talks about this girl, it will speak to her in a severe voice, one day it will show her hidden cards. It will speak to her in a severe voice and talking about her future. But there's this giant wave and a giant, monstrosity shark that takes out the tower. And they're 2 minutes or so before the transformation happens. So are there, superheroes in other cities, or is she just gone?
It kind of seemed like it was insinuating that there were other superheroes in other cities. It seemed to imply that there was multiple sites.
Yeah.
Last issue, I mentioned that I didn't like the tonal shift where it was telling the depressing story, and then it would have like random like last issue had like that weird earthquake thing that started like all these like, I can't remember what it was, like the monsters attacking the city. Yeah. And you guys kind of defended it. I was like, but it sort of interrupted like this depressing human tale. And then this issue kind of just turned my complaints up to 11. Yeah.
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 No, and it's just you guys kind of disagreed with me last time we spoke about this.
I don't know if I did.
You both did. You were like, this kind of stuff happens in anime and it works like manga.
Yeah,
wait, are you talking about
anymore?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, I actually liked that. I remember now. Yeah.
But then this issue just kind of turned it up to a new level, and then you guys sort of ended up agreeing with me. on this issue at least.
On this one, I don't know. It just feels different this time, I guess, for me. When I'm reading this one, it doesn't feel like it was interrupting itself, you know?
Yeah, issue 5, just on the whole, you have like this massive wave hitting the city. It's just like a massive attack on the city. It's just very strange.
Or rather, I should say this one does now feel like it's interrupting itself, and the previous one was the one that didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I think I'll check out the first issue.
Yeah,
because I'm just curious, but
yeah, I
it's
wish
a weird
it
choice.
just stayed self-contained. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else to add, or should we move on?
No.
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay, King in Black number 4 by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. So not a lot I want to say about this issue. Just we have. Actually, there are a few things to discuss in this issue. It's been like a week.
Oh, there is now for you.
Almost 2 weeks since I read this, because we didn't do this last week.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, we just didn't have time for it, and then I got my shipment delayed. So
exactly, yeah. So Doctor Strange sort of gets a power boost, which I assume this is something that was established in Donny Cates' Doctor Strange run.
Maybe. I don't know where that came from at all. They're like, all of a sudden he's got long hair and a big beard, and I'm like, sure.
Donny Cates wrote Doctor Strange, so I assume this is something he established there years ago.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. I feel bad for not reading it now.
I'll probably go back and check out at some point. But yeah, basically he gives a power boost to a load of the mutants, not mutants, but like a lot of the heroes. So Cyclops, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and Thor all get massive power boosts. Wait, who was this talking to him? Sorry, I completely forgot what happened to this issue. And then
which part?
Who is
talking to him?
The psychic talking to them? Jean Grey.
Oh, that's Jean Grey. Remember, that's revealed.
Yeah. Okay. So she gives them the power boost.
She is the one who's been working them all together. Yeah, collecting them all together, telling them what the plan is going to be, and then she goes and like interferes or impedes in Noel's mind, and then like starts crying because it's like empty or something, and then she discovers the big secret of like.
I meant that scene where like Cyclops takes his goggles off, and they all just seem to get like a massive power boost from nowhere, or is it just like now is the time when the plan's kicking in and.
Well, Cyclops has always had really overpowered eyes. It's just that they've always needed to be concentrated. Storm and Thor, I think, are on the same power level as each other. I forgot who the other person who did the power bolt was. I don't know.
Human Torch, Invisible Woman.
Human Torch has always had really crazy powers. There was a point where it was recognized that he could go supernova, much like the sun. With his abilities. So I'm not too surprised by that. This just, to me, I would say that this was something that was planned out to make sure that all of the heavy hitters hit all at once to overwhelm.
Yeah.
I will say that this felt like a very over-the-top action movie a little bit. And I'm not that...
But in the
I don't
best way
complain too much about that. Yeah. Well, especially with the ending.
Yeah. So this issue establishes that there is a opposite Venom, or opposite symbiote, sorry. Like the original battle, the original battle was between light and the void, and Null was birthed from the void, and then an opposite was also born. And
then
a reverse symbiote was trying to get into the planet. This bit I found confusing because obviously I don't know what it was, but
it's very clear that you're not that familiar with the Marvel Universe stuff with this. So this is Captain Universe. Captain Universe has been around in Marvel Comics for years. This is an energy source that comes randomly to different superheroes and characters and has declared someone as a new avatar, basically. Spider-Man has been Captain Universe. Or is it Captain Universe? Spider-Man. Yeah, I think it is. For a little while, I think Monica Rambeau was. Typically they're portrayed with a silver and blue hue, and then it has that sort of molecular structure kind of design on their chest and everything. But that's what that power structure is. So
what is obviously the Enigma Force? Is that just the name of the energy?
Oh, right. That's what Reed Richards mentions. Yes,
yeah, Reed's
it's something
like
that he
Captain
had been
Universe
studying for a
finally
long
the Enigma
time.
Force solved. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Well, basically, that's the power source that he studies when it comes to Captain Universe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end, Eddie Brock gets chosen by the Captain Universe Enigma Force and is reborn.
Yes. Which
Eddie Brock, you have the ability to
overcome great fear.
Overcome great fear. I couldn't think of the word overcome. It's like, welcome to the Green Lantern Corps. That's what this felt like.
That's basically what that was.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Donny Cates has actually said that he's a big fan of Green Lantern, so that's probably what happened.
Give me a Donny Cates Green Lantern ongoing, 100 issues directly into my veins.
God, yes.
God.
Give it to me, and then I will just do. I will do that. Just baby. Yes.
Why is he at Marvel?
It'll be like my first date with a woman. I'll just be like.
Like he's writing some cool characters at Marvel. Like, I wish he was at DC doing his 5-year Batman plan he has. I wish he was writing Green Lantern. Oh god,
it'd be interesting to see that. I'm really enjoying the Tynion run though. I feel like Tynion's gonna hop off after issue 150 or something.
Yeah, I hope he has a long run.
1 second.
Okay, well that takes us on to Batman White Knight presents Harley Quinn number 5.
Number 5.
Sean Murphy likes motorcycles.
Sean Murphy likes thick chicks on bikes.
So this is written by Katana Collins and Sean Murphy, and art by Matteo Scalera. And just off the bat, I love this cover. I love this.
Right off the Batman.
Right off the Batman.
Right off the Batman. I just want to say.
Right off the
like that. This interpretation of Red Hood just looks cool.
It's a really cool depiction.
It's a slightly older, more matured Jason Todd. He's no longer this kid, this edgy kid who looks
edgelord.
Like
goes around, lurks the threads on 4chan, posts cringe. None of that. He
gets off on kind of being an outsider, but
he gets off on women in bars that typically look like his mother. He has
Jason
mom
Todd
issues.
from the end of Curse of the White Knight looks different than Jason Todd in this.
He had a shaved head at the end of White Knight, so he sort of
he was just coming back from military duty of some sort, and now he's the warden.
Yeah, because that's natural job progression, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've just got back from military. I have no experience with law and military is kind of law enforcement to an extent.
Not really, no.
It's enforcing your law on other countries.
He looks like such a dweeb
if you're talking about America
in this.
Yeah.
Like he looks like such a douchebag in this compared to how they had him.
He's Jason
at
Todd.
The end of Curse of the White Knight.
That's just how he looks. He's Jason Todd. He's like, I'm a big douche. People hated me so much that they did a phone call.
He looks like he has no chin. He looks like he has no chin.
He doesn't have a chin. He lost it in the war.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up.
Weird choice. It's just such a weird creative choice that Bruce, while he's dead, he finds out he's alive, so he writes to him, and Jason comes back from the military to become warden of the prison Bruce is imprisoned in.
He's like, I'm not here to help you.
Yeah, and it's like, well, why are you here then? Go back to Iraq.
Yeah, go back to Iraq. Back where you belong.
Anyway, we've skipped a part. We've skipped like 3/4 of the issue.
Yeah, he says, I'm not talking to you.
That's okay. We don't need to do a panel by panel, right? Like we can just have a conversation about what we're saying.
Okay.
Was there a part in the beginning you wanted to bring up?
Well, there's part in the Jason Todd thing 17 pages in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So there's probably 1 or 2 things we could mention.
This. We've got the confrontation between the Starlet, Harley Quinn, and Hector. And the Starlet basically gets away.
This episode began exactly with the end of the last issue was him pointing the gun at Harley as Harley's like caught in this thing. And I knew as soon as I opened this issue, it's going to be, okay, he shoots the thing and frees Harley. Because
a little predictable, but I mean, it might also be like the right choice in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, like it still worked, but it's
I mean, she's doing a good job of telling the story. Katana Collins is doing a good job of telling the story. I mean, with the exception of some cliches, I'm still enjoying this.
I would say I've enjoyed all of it except for issue 2. Issue 2 felt like it ruined the pace of the story. Issue 2 is when we have Harley like oh, okay, I know who's doing this. It's other Harley. It's Neo Joker, and they go on
I
that
actually
weird
didn't mind
journey.
that.
But it's just it feels a very awkward place. Like, oh, like let's go see this other Harley with Poison Ivy now. Like, let's have that reference to our relationship.
Mhm.
And because until issue 3, I didn't really realize they were doing like a movie type murder thing, like with the actors and stuff. And it's like that's halfway through the series for me to realize what the story is, because you spent a whole issue just being like, oh, look at this cool thing from the comics we're adapting with this relationship. Yeah, like Poison Ivy does come back in this and speak to this other Harley, and they have like a little heart-to-heart kind of thing. The artwork is beautiful on that page where Harley's talking. You have Bruce in prison, you have Joker killing himself.
Yeah,
that was a really beautiful panel, and I don't know what it is, but whoever does the colors, I love the green they've chosen for Harley's outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This is still Matteo Scalera, correct? Because like there are parts of this where I'm reading this and I'm like, huh, this doesn't. Some parts I'm like, yeah, this is definitely Matteo Scalera. Other parts I'm like,
no, it's still Matteo Scalera. Sometimes... But I think the coloring this issue seems a little more vibrant in places.
Yeah. Did they switch colorists?
Let's have a little check.
The case of the missing colorist.
Dave Stewart did this issue. Did he do the previous issues?
Yeah.
He did do the previous issues?
Huh.
Yeah.
Maybe he just did it a little bit more vibrantly. Or, you know what?
Unless
maybe
Hollingsworth did the art, but he does the covers.
Yeah, he works. He does with Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's just like the Joker stuff is where it's more vivid.
A lot of his men look the same.
Yeah. I think the faces are just kind of lacking, because sometimes like they've got a very specific look for Poison Ivy, and sometimes the Starlet looks like her, and sometimes Montoya looks like Poison Ivy as well.
I think that as an Italian artist, he definitely has a very specific idea of what he wants his characters to look like, which I've seen before with like Black Science. Like the nose structure is very much a thing that they do. That being said, I feel like that's not unheard of for a lot of artists. I feel like I would say the same thing about how Sean Murphy does the faces of women with kind of the curvature and then the pointed shins. But at the same time, I recognize that there's little character differences that he has added to them. I agree that some of these characters definitely look very similar, but I think that that's mostly just because it's comic book art, you know, drawing the same character over and over again. The easiest way to do that is going to be by having a structure that you have in mind and going, okay, well, I'll do female face, softer, you know, structures. It's not unlike what Jack Kirby did. Jack Kirby did the same fucking chin for a million different people.
Yeah. I mean, look at this black and white photo for the next issue.
Sure.
Right here. If I didn't have any context clues, I would have thought that was Poison Ivy right there.
I mean, I could see why you would think that. I feel like that's pretty obviously not her, just because, I mean, for one thing, darker hair. Secondly, her eyes. The way that he's drawn her eyes in the rest of the comics have been a little bit different. But I can guess why you would say that.
I think a lot of artists have same face syndrome, but when you have the coloring and the costumes and stuff, it's much clearer.
Sure.
Anyway.
Yeah. Are you going to continue reading it?
Well, there's only 1 or 2 more issues left. Is it 6 or 7?
Is there really?
It's 12 issues.
Oh, 12 issues.
That's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lot longer than I thought it was. Fair enough.
Well,
yeah, I'm still reading it.
I mean, I think it would have been weaker if it was a 6-issue story, if anything.
Yeah, but White Knight was 7 issues.
That would be just
White Knight was 8 issues. So I thought it was following.
It would just be the end of the first arc. Maybe there's going to be a second arc.
Yeah, there'll probably be a split or something.
Yeah. Well,
it could follow the same story, but like Tom King's 12 issues typically have like the story reaches this midway point in issue 6 and it will diverge into a new direction, even though it's still the same story.
Yeah.
So whether they do like they do 2 stories, one in each.
Well, this is kind of like the first act. We introduce one villain, the Starlet, and I assume in the second act, you know, we'll get a whole plethora of villains.
Okay.
You know, he'll introduce the rest of his plan because this is just, you know, the appetizer.
Okay.
I like this banter between Harley and Duke at the
Yeah.
hospital.
That was pretty good. I actually
They got a
like
pretty
this
good
depiction of
friendship
Duke more
going.
than I've ever liked any other like
Yeah,
depiction
this-
of Duke, including the Snyder one.
Duke, I don't
They-
dislike, but he's never really stood alone well enough as a character. But here, he is
He's
a
just
character I enjoy
mediocre.
reading. Yeah, when he
He's-
shows up in this story, like I know it's going to be a good scene.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't understand why
I
the
keep wanting to say
bandana
the 616
covers his
for some
eyes.
reason. I don't know. I don't know what the universe is called for the DC universe, but it's not the 616, but I want to keep calling it that. Whenever Duke shows up in the main universe in DC, Earth 1,
Prime,
Earth
Earth
0,
Prime, Earth Prime.
Prime, yeah. Alpha.
Earth Alpha. I need your help. Are you there? I don't know. Every time that Duke shows up, here's the signal. Okay.
Yeah.
He's never been.
Is he
none of the
blind?
writers. No.
Because the bandana basically like covers his eyes. It goes down to like right around.
He's meant
here.
to look gangsta. He's
Yeah.
meant to look like he can pound your face in. Just
I
by
like
looking
how
at
they
you.
do a little bit of show don't tell because he brings the egg roll and it doesn't like show like say anything, but she
Mhm.
throws the egg roll to her hyenas and you can see
Mhm.
them just chomping on it while they're talking.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't that in issue 1 as well?
She does.
Yeah,
mention
that's a
egg
callback to
rolls.
one of the earlier issues.
She mentions he gave her egg rolls.
Mhm.
Yeah, they do address it kind of, but yeah, the artwork is good.
Mm-hmm.
The artwork is good. It is
I-
good. I like
Yeah.
artwork that is good, and this is
Ah.
good artwork.
No, I sort of
I
had a
wouldn't
point,
have
but
it any
I,
other way.
I kind of lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
Yeah, it does do a lot of show not tell.
It does. No,
Yeah.
I think that's a good storytelling. Is when you don't force something to be like, haha.
Yeah, when the artist can sort of have some freedom to play around in the scenes, show some little like background gags kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's when
Sure.
it really sort of shines through. But yeah, we have Bruce steal Jason Todd's bicycle helmet to wear over it, and I love how in this the red hood is a bicycle, like a motorcycle helmet.
Mm-hmm. And this motorcycle is
Well, that's how
different
it should be.
slightly from the one on the cover. flip
It's
back
a
and forth.
red one.
Like it's got the two mufflers on either side, but in this one it's just a red muffler, smaller.
Yeah. Well, different artists did the cover, so
Yeah.
it's just a slightly
Yeah,
different interpretation.
Yeah, but it's not a direct copy. It's nice to get the two different.
No, but on the cover, I didn't notice this, but we do have the building and fire on the background with the fire
Mhm.
engines out front. I was too
Yep.
distracted by, Jason Todd wearing a red hood. Let's ignore everything else on this cover.
Yeah.
I want to point something out too. The design for Red Hood here is the proper design. The leather jacket and the helmet.
Yeah.
The one that looks cool instead of this weird like
Edgy
sleeveless
crowbar,
edgelord, like I'm gonna go to a metal
hoodie.
shore.
Yeah.
Arr.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
Those shoes that he has on are kind of like the Amazonian kind of
Yeah, they look armored. Like,
yeah, or I kind of get like the sort of similar. I don't know if he goes for like a Japanese aesthetic with like what he did with Tokyo
Probably.
Ghost.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I like this
Is there
scene
anything
of-
else you wanted to say before
I just want to say, I like the scene of Bullock talking to Bruce towards the end. Bruce is like,
Oh yeah,
Bruce is going to go in there and
I'm
it's like,
enjoying
I'm
this.
not leaving until everyone's safe. And then like the hyena comes
Sure.
out with the kid. Oh, one of the hyenas died. That was sad.
yes,
Lou.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, I just
Not
liked
Bruce,
how
but Lou.
Bullock. Yeah, I just liked how Bullock was like, yeah, I'm not going to turn you in, but like, you can't do this.
hey man,
Hey man.
Like Bullock is always best. Like he is a moody, grouchy character, but he does have a heart of gold sometimes.
Well,
Mhm.
his depiction in Earth 1 kind of sells the reason for like why that is, and I love that portrayal.
Yeah, I need to go back and reread Earth 1 in anticipation of Volume 3.
I like him in Gotham.
Yeah, he was good in Gotham.
Yeah,
Who was it that played him? Donald Logue.
yes,
Yeah, he was great in that role. I liked so much of Gotham and hated so much of it as well.
Yeah,
I've never hated and loved a show so much at the same time.
Yeah.
Cameron Monaghan was a great Joker, though.
Yeah. These pictures.
I was waiting for you to do that reaction, Tyler. I was waiting for that.
Meh. Yeah, I hate it.
Cameron Monaghan was great.
I don't hate it. I was just I literally stopped watching it like within the first couple of episodes, so I don't really have much of an opinion on it.
Season 2 picks up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It still was not great, but season 2 did pick up a lot. It fully embraced the sort of comic booky campy.
Yeah, the campness.
Good.
I like this drawing, another drawing from the preview for next issue. Just the Joker. Just, ugh. Oof.
Shall we move on?
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this
What's
takes us on to a book from last week, Superman Worlds of War #2.
This was great.
This was great.
Sick.
Great. Frosted Flakes. Great. Fresh to fresh.
So this was written by Phillip Kennedy Johnson and art by Mikel Janin.
Mikel Janin.
Hanin, sorry. Hanin.
Mikel Janin. Mikel Janin. Hanin.
Oh,
I'm into it. This was a really good issue. This was a very... Have you noticed how Mikel Janin continues to be in prose-based comics?
I don't know.
Yeah, I noticed that with Tom King stuff.
Yeah, that's just a trend in Tom King stuff, though. But before this, Hanin typically had only worked with King.
I feel like reading this, I see why you said this was something that you could read digitally, but it's so good that you want to pick it up physically, and you're just like, why would I not want to pick this up physically?
Yeah, well, I got the Future State issues physically anyway, but I was like, the main run, like, I'm trying to collect less. I'm just going to read it digitally. But I read this and I was like, these 2 issues blew me away and made, like, I'm going to pick this up physically because this is a run that I want to own. Like, if Superman's, if the rest of the run is even half as good as this, it's going to blow me away.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we have...
I'm actually... Like, I knew Phillip Kennedy Johnson was a good writer, but I didn't know how good of a writer he was. Apparently, I had no fucking idea, but I'm into this.
This is one of the best Superman stories I've ever read.
How many have you read?
Enough. I've still got stuff on my list I need to get back to. Yeah, I've read All Star. I've read Tom King's Up in the Sky. I've read Grant Morrison's New 52 stuff. I read Geoff Johns' New 52 stuff. I've read Secret Origins. I read Birthright. I've read like most of the main ones.
Yeah,
there's some really good stuff out there. I think the problem is that there's too many stories out there that are like, I recognize that Dan Jurgens did like 200 years worth of Superman storylines, but I just don't. Every time I've read them, I'm always like, it's just okay enough that I can appreciate it and enjoy it, but it's not. Like, when I've heard people complain about Bendis' Superman run, I'm like, some of these are valid criticisms, but I feel like one of the worst criticisms I've heard was that Bendis kind of like tore up the basic idea of what these characters were, and then
I liked Bendis' stuff to begin with, but it just kind of went nowhere and dropped in quality a lot.
I would say that I would compare his stuff to kind of at least like the first half of like the Geoff Johns storylines of Superman that I've read. Not the endings. Geoff Johns did different styles of endings, but I feel like Bendis, when he wrote those endings, it was much more of like an empowerment thing, you know, very much like,
yeah,
look at the humanity of some of these characters and these interactions and these relationships. That's what I felt with this too, but I felt like the message of what Superman is stronger in this Kennedy Johnson story than most of the other stuff that I've read. Even the Geoff Johns stuff that I've read. Like, I love that Geoff Johns stuff.
Maybe 1 or 2 nitpicks with some of the story, but I really liked it.
Tell me what you nitpicked.
You can shut your whole mouth.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's just talk about what we like, because
give your nitpicks.
It's all reds and yellows and blacks, but then Superman's got the blue eyes, so that really stands out.
I didn't even notice that. That was a good call out.
Yeah. And
what was your nitpick?
The nitpick was, at the end, he gets blasted by Mongol, and he reveals that, he wasn't trying to kill anybody. His real goal was to, break the chains off of his enemies. And if you go back and you look back through, you can see those hits and you can see where the chains are breaking. But the little nitpick that I had is it shows the broken chains in one panel, but they don't draw in those, little bits of hanging chain off of the, 3 enemies that he had.
Oh, I see
so
what
that,
you're saying.
That one picture of him surrounded by all the enemies, I think it would have been better if you could see just a little bit of the chains hanging there.
Yeah, that's not a bad nitpick. I think that's an artistic mistake that happens. I think the important thing is that the message is conveyed, though, fairly clearly. I wouldn't have never noticed it if you hadn't pointed that out, if I'm honest with you. But that's also because I'm just a dumb slut.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
we have
you
more...
definitely have to go back and read it again if, I didn't pick up that he was breaking the chains as he was fighting the people.
I don't think you were meant to. I think that you were meant.
But you can see it again. If you go back and you look at it, you can see all the times that he's breaking the chains.
Sure. But at the same time, it's only kind of lightly shown. I feel like the message is meant to come across at its strongest when Mongol is interrogating him. And then the revelation of the broken chains being held up in Superman's name as a response is the message that's supposed to be clear. So if it's
when
not
he says the fighters weren't the target, you can see the picture right below that. You see the broken chains and you're like, oh, those were the target.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
then, it's much more reinforced when you see the entire audience just full of broken chains, holding them up, cheering him on.
Sure.
Yeah, back on Earth, we have the
young woman
who's
going to
the young woman and the boy who they sort of walked off at the end of the last episode issue. And this is her walking along. She gives him a newspaper. It's like, this is how Clark Kent saved me. And this bit I kind of found a little confusing because I didn't really understand how the article saved her.
What about it was confusing?
It was just a story of a guy that just keeps fighting no matter what happens.
Yeah, it's just I didn't really see how it related to her.
Because he was a nobody in the eyes of so many people. In the eyes of many people, he was a failure. So if you're at your low point and you're like, I don't know, suicidal, and you're saying I feel like I'm worthless, there's no point in going on.
Okay.
Clark Kent's story is meant to say, you can say that he wasn't these things, but in actuality, he was a hero because he kept fighting and he didn't get famous, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't a success. The success is continuously fighting, even when it was hard, even when it makes you feel like you want to give up everything. That's the thing that made her save her life. That saved her life was...
That's fair enough.
The realization that you don't need to be successful, that you don't need to make this big, grandiose portrayal. You can be a hero even when no one knows it. And that's the thing. It's I thought that was a real person. I was Googling it. I'm like, I don't think this is a real person after I was Googling it, but I believed it so heavily. And that's, that was the thing that sold me on this issue, was that I was like, I actually believe that this is a real person at this point.
Oh, I didn't think that, but I can see that someone might be like, this has to be based on somebody.
Because it just feels like a genuine story. And I think that's the thing that impressed me so much.
Yeah, it was a powerful story about Superman and what he represents to people and how he will never stop fighting until the wrong is righted.
Mm-hmm.
Because he could escape Warworld anytime he wants. He can escape Warworld anytime he wants, but he's staying there until he's freed every single slave.
Which I just loved. There were some criticisms.
It's so Superman. Sorry?
Yeah. Well, you had mentioned that there were some people who were online and they were saying that there were some complaints.
Oh yeah.
That I was.
They were saying it was imperialistic. It was Superman's the US military going over and enacting their freedom on another world, and it's
I mean, it's just Superman being Superman.
Exactly.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't,
like,
but
get
it's
fucked.
Superman being Superman.
Yeah, they were like in the
Yeah,
first issue,
exactly.
they were complaining because in the first issue he mentions Israel, and like clearly that's because like the US is pro-Israel, and then in this
I didn't
issue,
even
like
catch.
he's over in the like he's enacting US justice on another country that we have no right in, and it's like no, it's Superman being Superman by like he's freeing slaves. He's literally freeing
It's
slaves.
fucking slaves. Yeah. Like anybody who has an issue with that is just pro-fascist and get fucked.
If Superman was drone striking the Middle East, I could say, okay, maybe there is
Wait a minute.
comparison there.
Have
to
you guys
US
seen
military.
Batman v Superman?
What, where Batman's just drone striking all of Israel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, then this leads us nicely into Future State Superman House of L.
Yeah. I like
This
the
Scott Godlewski arc was great.
Yeah.
It's better than I've
so-
seen from him before. He is an artist who I've seen on several things over the last few years, and he's continued to improve. He's still not my
Absolutely.
favorite artist, but it was a lot better than it has been. It's very reminiscent of John Timms. So this is set, I don't think he gives us an exact date, but it's hundreds of years. Hundreds?
Wait, what are you guys looking at?
Hundreds.
House of L.
Oh, Superman House of L. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the solicit for that.
It's an issue that came out last week.
Well, shit.
I sent it to the chat and you were like, oh, I didn't know about this. Have to pick this up.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that was coming out this soon. I thought that was like...
Oh, no, that was a Future State
Listen,
issue from last week. Yeah.
Listen, Josh has a family.
He has
This
a
probably
family.
took 50 minutes to read. Probably too much for him.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Fuck.
Yeah, this is written by Phillip Kennedy Johnson and art by Scott Godlewski. And it's set like...
This was strong.
Yeah, it's set like 1,000 years
Yeah.
in the future, dealing with Superman's legacy.
The only thing that I was
February
confused about.
23rd. Fuck.
The only thing that
Dude,
I
I
was
didn't even
confused
see
about.
that. Like, I don't even know if they had any copies at my local comic book shop.
The guy with the ponytail, the one who's been like in a tense relationship with his daughter. Who is that?
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, big gulps, huh?
He's called
I'll see you
Brandon.
later.
Brandon Kent.
Yeah. I mean, that must be like John's kid or something, right?
God,
I would
that's
think
going to be
so, yeah.
annoying to have twins named Rowan and Ronan. Which one did you call for? Ronan. Which one? Whatever,
Have you seen-
both of you.
Have you seen the video of the dad trying to like call out to his kid? And they're both twins. They're both like 3 years old, and the dad's like calling to the kid in the kitchen. And it's like, Harper, will you come over here? And then all of a sudden his little girl comes running. He's like, no, daddy, no. Harper. And he's like, you're Harper? She goes, yeah. And he goes, oh, my bad. All right, sorry. Ronan, come here.
Was this
It's-
just one issue?
The
It
House of
was-
L storyline?
It was double sized. It was supposed to be 2 issues when it was solicited, I think.
It was.
I think they
Dude,
just merged it.
My problem here is that DC split off onto their own distributor, and now I can't just order things through Diamond. I have to manage two.
Honestly, if you don't manage to get this issue, like you're not missing a lot. Like it's not heavily tied into anything else. It's just like a future Superman story showing his legacy, and it's good,
So-
but
We don't
This is a
continue
good
this
issue.
Superman.
it's the same writer, and you do get a sort of throwback to him freeing the slaves on
That's it?
Warworld.
All
Yeah.
right.
And it also does tie into the Black Racer story at the end,
Okay.
like the backup. But like those 2 issues still stood alone enough. You don't like this is a good read, but it's not essential, I'd say.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but yeah.
You're right. Yeah, no, I hear you.
It seems like Kennedy Johnson took a lot of care in like working out Superman's future, like how his kids would look, how his world would look. And
Josh,
Yeah.
question.
Huh?
You said you were dealing with Diamond, or dealing with what do you mean? Does your shop like make you go online and like deal with Diamond, or?
No, we use I don't have to, but that was the easiest way to do things, is that I can go onto like Previews World and just select all the things that I want to order. I can see, months out. But since Diamond and DC aren't working together, I can only see everybody else. I can see all the upcoming comics for everybody. I have to, tell my comic shop, oh yeah, I want to, order this DC stuff. And I can't check on my subscriptions or my orders or anything.
Okay. So my store has a online forum. Luckily, because the one of the owners is a coder, and he developed the website himself. So he just they just send me a list of, they like, well, this is your subscription, come sign up and pay for this and whatever. I'm using Shopify right now, which is a really easy way to do it. But I've never had a store ask me to use Previews World or anything before. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, I like it. It worked. I've been doing that for probably a year or more. And it was nice. DC was on there up until they,
split. Yeah, of course.
Off. And now it's just like, we're at 9 months, 8 months of them doing that.
Yeah, I think it was last April, maybe.
They announced it, but the split happened at the end of June, beginning of July.
Okay.
So I just haven't found a better way of keeping track of that. I'm too lazy for that. I got one. I don't need 2 different places.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about with this issue?
I just want to say it's nice how it's far enough in the future where some of the descendants think maybe Superman wasn't real. He's just a message that
like a big metaphor that they were talking about.
He's like Santa Claus.
Yeah. If you get around to checking it out, I actually really liked it. I thought that this was a strong character interaction book. It was interesting how it opens with the fighting of the parademons looking kind of things. It was strong to me. I recommend it. I mean, it's a Phillip Kennedy Johnson. We all like him. I like it.
Yeah. And yeah, I just love that scene where Superman shows up at the end. He's like, you have a lot to answer for.
Yes.
Because he's still alive, because of course he is. And it looks like this is the one from Immortal Wonder Woman. Because he's got the same sort of costume on.
Beard and everything. Yeah.
Oh, okay. With Mongol's regenerative technology to just bring him back from the brink of death over and over again.
Yeah. Whatever the fuck it is. Probably even the cloning stuff. Because I think that's what Mongol does, is clones himself.
Yeah, but Superman can live long anyway, can't he?
Yeah,
they think he might be immortal. They don't know.
They've mentioned it a lot. That even in Smallville, I remember this one where it's just like this CGI cape. Somebody was trying to look into his future, and they're like, you don't have an ending, you just keep going. That's the thing that they've always mentioned.
Yeah. Same with Wolverine from the X-Men.
Kind of, unless it's Mark Millar's Old Man Logan story.
Mark Millar.
I don't know if there's anything else that I read this week. What else did you read? No, I never got around to reading that, but I heard really good things because of you, actually.
I think this was a lot better than Next Batman. Next Batman was very generic, I felt.
I finished Next Batman.
I don't know what else do we have.
What the hell is that in your stack?
All of my stack.
Donald Trump saying thick. This was a lot of fun. Bruce, he's still got that kooky roommate, and I had a lot of fun with it. Why
are you laughing? It's because he said kooky.
Yeah, getting into shenanigans.
Mama, what is shenanigan?
It is where I'm not gonna do that accent. Actually, I take it back.
Trouble, but silly.
Sometimes scary.
Most of the time, it is mischief.
If anyone's confused right now, that's from the most recent episode of WandaVision. Go check it out.
Man, what a shitty show that is.
Said no.
Oh no, you have power that you are undeserving of. Give it to me.
This issue was a lot of fun. And
Did you know Mariko Tamaki was an award winner?
I did not. What award? Are we
I don't
talking
know.
Razzie or Oscar?
Eisner, I think.
Award winner could mean a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably
On the
Eisner.
cover. Yeah, well, it says on the cover, Eisner Award winner, Mariko Tamaki.
Maybe she got a... No, wait. Mariko's a girl, right?
Well,
Lady?
I think she's a she or a they.
Okay.
She.
Probably, maybe they got a Peabody. A Pulitzer.
That's the only thing I think I didn't read.
Yeah, we also
They
got like the Red Hood story at the end by Joshua Williamson. That was good, enjoyable.
Okay,
Nothing
cool.
sort of groundbreaking, but again, fun.
Joshua Williamson does
Joshua
that.
Williamson. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, we're definitely not a big fan of him at all. Okay. What else did you guys read?
What did you guys read?
I'll go through my stack. We had Immortal Wonder Woman, which
Yeah, how'd you like that?
I like this issue more than the first one.
I don't know. I like the first one more than this one.
I didn't like
we
the
basically
dark
just
side plot in the
witnessed-
first one.
We witnessed the heat death of the universe. Wonder Woman is the last remaining being. Spectre was the second to last, and he just disappears. He's like, oh, I don't have to worry about anybody else. What is this feeling? What is this feeling? Relief? There is no more revenge, so I must disappear. And he just force ghosts away.
Peace, I'm out.
I did that when I was trying to go party.
So she sticks around to the heat death of the universe, and then the world is reborn. I don't know. She went through the trouble of acquiring the Green Lantern ring, the Bat Belt, and she doesn't even use it. Like,
I think these were just kind of mementos to her past.
Yeah.
Like something to hold on to.
she's flying through space forever and doesn't need to breathe. She's just undying. Not even like, oh, I just kind of, created this air
Josh.
bubble around me with the Green
Josh.
Lantern ring.
Josh, would you say that she's immortal?
Yeah, maybe. But like, if you're so used to breathing, it can be quite troublesome to not breathe.
I have learned this from experience. I understand.
Oh, I forgot the part where Darkseid and Superman just fall into the sun and have a fight in the sun, kind of like the end of Invincible.
They have a roll around in the hay.
The dark side Superman plot just did nothing for me. Like it came out of nowhere and just sort of didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And
who wrote this?
It was Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad.
Becky Cloonan is a good writer when
art by Jen Bartel.
Jen Bartel. An artistic god.
I feel conflicted
That's
about
good art. I like how the pages glow.
I feel conflicted about Becky Cloonan because every time I've ever read a Becky Cloonan story, it either really captivates me or it's just kind of mediocre, and that's not a good combination.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for a Wonder Woman run. Fingers crossed.
I think it's going to be good. I think the future state stuff just has spread a lot of people really thin.
Yeah, but you haven't tell a whole story in 2 issues, and it's sad.
Yeah. Supersized issues.
Supersized. What's next?
Stillwater.
How are you guys liking that? I actually I got caught up on the issue 4, and then I haven't read 5 and 6 yet.
I'm still enjoying it. This was an origin issue of well, not an origin, but a background to this police officer who has his little militia, who we saw at the end of last issue.
Dick.
Yeah. That was a meh issue. I like when we finally get back to the exploded courthouse and seeing the conversation with the people regenerating.
Yeah, the judge is they're melted.
Yeah. I didn't really care for this issue.
Really? Why?
I liked it.
It's just kind of boring. Like, I don't give a shit about this guy. Like, he's an asshole.
The main character?
Yeah. He has his problems. He's still an asshole.
Well, tell me about why you think it's boring. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that. It just didn't captivate you?
It's boring because it's just not interesting to me. He's just, he's the guy that, the police force are basically the people that tie up loose ends. They go out, they tie up loose ends. He meets up with some friends that he knew, and they're like, something's off about you.
Just not exciting for you. It doesn't sell the story to you.
Yeah. No, I want to focus on the main character.
I think that's a valid criticism. I think that when you stray too far away from the actual character itself or themselves, sometimes it can feel like you're trying to just have a character to tell the story rather than
Yeah, but I
like
think
interesting.
it still needs to build this world and build these characters.
Yeah, because you're
Yeah,
really enjoying it right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm really. I don't know if I'd say really enjoying it, but I am enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, what's your defense? Do you think it's still boring? Do you think it's boring, or do you think Josh is?
This episode was definitely sort of. This is the end of the first arc. I feel it weird having the end of the first arc be a flashback issue. I think this might have worked better as a filler issue between the first arc and second arc.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
If they take them off,
Yeah, if this had been like maybe if it had
and,
been issue 7.
Yeah, and it could have had a different artist to just do this like one standalone story, like how this guy got here.
Yeah,
and
it didn't do what Department of Truth did.
I feel like this is one of the least strong Chip Zdarsky stories that I've read, and that's upsetting to me because I'm a fan. And I mean, I've enjoyed almost all of what he's done. I think that there's been very few stuff that I've done or that I've read of his that I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, everything
like,
I've read by him I have enjoyed.
Yeah. There was a couple of issues of Daredevil where I was like, this is okay.
You're wrong.
Okay. Fair.
His Daredevil is incredible.
I wouldn't say it's perfect, but I definitely think it's good. I really enjoyed the opening. I've enjoyed the first 3 volumes that I've read. Volume 4 was kind of so-so for me, and that's where I fell off.
I read it in singles, so I don't know what's covered in what volume.
I mean, just issues 1 through 27 or whatever. I just threw a number at you. I don't know.
Well, 27 only came out last week, so
yeah. So I just threw a number at you.
That definitely wasn't in trade 3.
I mean, probably trade 20. So if it's 6 issues per, so 6, 12, 18, 24. So 24, yeah. Depending on if they do 5 or 6 issue runs, but yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna catch up to Stillwater and then have my own kind of thoughts and opinions because you're both giving me conflicting information here. But I kind of fell off for a little bit because I wasn't that captivated by it. But I'll check it out.
Yeah. I read Future State Aquaman this week, which was a lot of fun.
How was that? Okay.
I like issue 1. I gave a lot of praise to. This issue was still really, really good.
Who wrote this? I forget.
Brandon
Easton?
Thomas or Brandon Easton. It was one of the 2.
Where does the story take place?
A different Earth in the multiverse.
But do they go back underwater or is it above ground?
Well, this issue, the first issue was dealing with Jackson Hyde being sort of held prisoner by the fish people. I don't know if they'll give them a name.
That's racist.
But this issue, thank you.
They are called underwater Americans.
That's a more politically correct term. This issue deals with Andy Curry after they got separated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of how she dealt on her own. And as she's making her way through the different worlds, it's having flashbacks to when her and Jackson were together and him teaching her lessons. Like he taught her how to hunt. So then we get like a scene of her trying to hunt on her own and like the bowstring snaps and that kind of thing. It's a lot of fun and like it's still definitely a dark story because they've been separated. She's injured but it's just telling it's got a glimmer of hope to it and they're going to find each other again. I think it's a really, really well told story and probably one of the best Future State stories.
I'll check it out. I'm interested. I actually think Aquaman doesn't get enough shine.
Not.
People just like have this weird like issue with wanting to shit all over Aquaman or just like never give any of the characters their due. And I just think that's unfair.
The art by Daniel Sampere is gorgeous.
Oh, the art. Every time I've ever seen the art, I'm always like, oh yeah, absolutely. This looks great. Yeah.
Did you read anything else this week, Tyler?
Not that I can think of. I finally got my latest issue of Miles Morales, so I need to catch up on that because I want to get caught up for the Clone Saga as that's coming out. But I also read the Amazing Spider-Man, but that's still kind of weird right now. I don't really know what to think, so I'm kind of just like, eh.
Okay. Josh, you got anything else on your list?
A couple of things.
Yep, go ahead.
Speed run. We had Maestro, War and Pax, issue 2. So he's got the Pantheon in chains, and he's like, the Pantheon falls. Who's next? The exact opposite happens in the comic. The cover has nothing to do what's going on.
The good old 60s DC style.
Yeah, you guys talked about that, and that's all I thought about this entire issue. Dr. Doom is back. He's like, I have interest in taking down Maestro because I'm traveling through time, and I like this place, so I'm going to conquer it.
It's the original clickbait.
Yeah. Got Nailbiter Returns, number 10.
Is that the last
end
issue?
Of the story.
Yeah.
It's the last issue, and it's going to return with Son of Nailbiter.
Nailbiter returns again.
Yeah.
Son of Nailbiter. That sounds so bad.
Yep.
And then after that, we get Bride of Nailbiter.
Yep, maybe, probably. They're like, we just wanted to do like a horror sequel for this.
Yeah.
And then we both had, Joshua Williamson and Harry Henderson. I don't know what his first name
Harry
is.
and the
Mike
Hendersons.
Henderson. I know.
Harry Henderson.
I assume they gave Bigfoot the Henderson last name.
This is interesting.
Like,
Every time I look
kids.
up Harry Henderson, it's a big Sasquatch. I don't know why.
Yeah. They stopped the bad lady. No real mysteries. No real mysteries are answered. He's just like, I'm a monster. Leave me alone. And that's it. And then he meets his son at the end. And Williamson and Henderson both had kids in the past year. So like, we're gonna continue on. We're gonna do Son of Nailbiter. Maybe we'll answer some mysteries.
Hashtag new dads.
Yeah. Next one we have is Savage #1. It's a Valiant comic.
Why would you buy a Valiant comic? I'm so sorry.
Because I'm a fan of Max Bemis. I loved the band Say Anything. He did a run of Moon Knight.
You mentioned that before, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got this
did I mention he's been cast as Moon Knight?
I swear to fuck.
How old would you say this guy is?
24.
Somewhere between 12 and 39.
All right. Well, Sean was closer because he's 14. He's a hero. He's 14. He and his parents were lost in the land of the lost.
But I put on a few
pounds. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's in the land of the lost, and he's been killing raptors and giant spiders and all sorts of shit. And now he's back on this world, and his older brother, who's like 30, is his manager. And he just kicks ass. And then he gets captured by these scientists, and we'll find out next issue what's going on. I don't know. I didn't really care for it. I might get issue 2, but that's probably it.
Don't do it. Don't ever do it. I have tried so hard. Like outside of Gerard Way, there's been very few musicians who have done comic books that I've been a fan of. Like I love Coheed and Cambria. So Claudio Sanchez doing the comic book series that he did. What was it called? I can't remember what it is. Well, anyways, that stuff, it's just not good.
Red.
It's just not good. Like, I'm sorry. Like, sorry, Claudio. It's just not. I've read it twice because I had somebody in my life who was a really big fan of both Claudio and the comics in Keeping Secrets of the Silent Earth or whatever. And it's just so fucking weird. Like I like weird.
I think him being a 14-year-old, I can't get into it now.
Well,
like that part just really threw me.
How old are you? I'm 14. Power.
Everything else is fine. I just can't get over that.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Everyone, all the social media is like, oh my God, this girl, is trying to date him. He's trying to make it into he's not trying to make it into the social media scene. His brother's managing him, trying to push him into the social media scene. He's like, I just want to chill, man. There's a story. There's things that happened before this comic started that would have been more interesting than this.
Based on that cover, he could post one topless picture on social media and
get 5,000 followers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One picture.
There's traps.
All right. So I went through all of that. There's Oblivion Song number 30. Ty hasn't read it yet.
I haven't purchased it yet. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
One of the best fight scenes from the entire series. Interlaced with scientists talking about something that, I wish they had cut that out. I wish the whole fight scene would have been the whole issue.
The last issue is a lot of them talking about the invasion as it's happening right now. So it's interesting to Kirkman doing action sequence doesn't always hit, but I mean, when he does it right.
This This is a fantastic fight scene. I love it.
My favorite Kirkman fight scene that I've seen. There's been two. There's been the Invincible fight with the guy with one eye, and then there was the fight after you are introduced to
the
Negan.
governor.
No, in Invincible.
Oh, Invincible. Sorry.
Yeah. Though the governor was also a really good conflict as well.
Who had one eye.
Yeah. So Kirkman's a great writer, but Lorenzo De Felici is the artist, and this is awesome. I love it. I didn't expect this, and it's just so good.
Okay, Sean.
So I had 2 number ones this week. So I read Stray Dogs by, I don't have a creative team up in front of me. Give me a second.
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
Yeah, what is this basically?
Stray Dogs number 1 is written by Tony Fleeks and art by Trish Forstner. So this is a story of a dog who was kidnapped from its owner and is now living with the murderer of its owner. So the guy murdered the owner and kidnapped the dog. Yeah, and the guy has like a dozen other dogs as well. And she's like, oh my God, like your owner killed my owner. And then like at the end of the issue, it's like the dog only has like a really short attention span. So by the end of the issue, it doesn't remember its owner dying.
That's really sad.
Yeah,
this is 4 or 5 issues long.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's I'm a softie for dogs, man. I don't know if I can handle this. This might make me fall apart.
It's interesting. I wouldn't really say it gets emotional any time. There's a few little bits here and there. It's something really different, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Have you seen Plague Dogs?
Oh, I remember seeing that. I didn't read it, but oh my God. I picked that up and read the first few pages.
You can't do it.
They wrote dogs really well.
Yeah, but it's fucking sad. It's the saddest shit I've ever read in my goddamn life. It's the movie. It was worse.
It starts out going 60 miles an hour at like page 1.
I should say like the dogs obviously are all talking to each other.
Sure. So Plague Dogs, Sean, to give you context, is the saddest fucking thing you'll ever watch or see. It's written by the same guy who did Watership Down, the bunny story. Yeah, you didn't know that?
No,
dude,
you can't make me.
It's oh my God, dude. Okay, so Plague Dogs is about these 2 test animal dogs. One is a black lab and the other is a Jack Russell Terrier, and the Jack Russell Terrier is constantly having its brain like fucked with, so its skull is always like left open with like it's got like metal wires leaving its cranium open, and the black lab is constantly being put in water where it swims till it dies repeatedly, and then they resuscitate it, and they're like, oh yeah, it's interesting, every time we put him we resuscitate him and put him back in the water, he actually lasts longer until he drowns to death. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up. And
that's the one where the world goes to shit at the start of the book and the dogs are running around because they're not affected by it, right?
No. So this is the one where these dogs are called Plague Dogs because they escape from this facility, but the testing facility
I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah. Testing facilities for
something else just as fucked up.
Testing facilities in the UK on animals are illegal. So the testing facility lies and says that they were plague dogs and that they have the Black Plague. So every time these dogs interact with people, they're like, oh, those are the dogs, so we need to kill them. So these dogs escape from a testing facility, run around across England trying to find love and companionship in other human beings, and they're constantly met with violence. It's the saddest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. It breaks my heart even thinking about it, and I want to die just thinking about it. It's so fucking sad.
Okay, I got to figure out what the other one was, where like you say plague dogs, and it's like the world is basically ending. Like, I don't know if like everyone's dying from some sort of disease or they're on fire or something.
I know what you're talking about.
The dogs, like the start of the story, like maybe it's like a golden retriever or a yellow lab or something, but it's just him with his thoughts. And he's just like, I'm a dog. Hi, human. How can I help you, human? And the human's just like partly on fire or partly dying is like human. Human?
Yeah, I have no capacity for. Yeah, I don't know what that one is, but I know what you're talking about. I think. I think I'm gonna have a hard time picking up stray dogs. It seems too sad. When it comes to dogs, man, I don't.
Tell
think
us
I can
about
do
the
it.
other thing. This must be happier.
Yeah, so
right?
Please. No.
So the other one was Nuclear Family #1, written by Stephanie
Uh-oh.
Phillips and art by Tony Chastain.
Oh no.
Stephanie Phillips did the Harley Quinn Future State issues,
Right.
and based on that and this, I'm gonna have to pick up the ongoing because she seems like a great writer. So this is set in 1957 Milwaukee, and the main character is Tim McLean, who is a used car salesman, and it just sort of goes about his day. Like he goes home to his family. We get a little bit of family dynamic. Like his daughter doesn't really get on with the mum, and she's like off smoking with her friends. And it mentions like Russia being a looming threat at this point.
Yeah, that makes sense
So
for the threat of the nuclear family.
Yeah, this very much feels like sort of, you remember Fallout 4 before the bombs went off when you're just sort of walking around your house. It's reminiscent of that a little.
That's why they actually called them the nuclear family, is because that was the stereotypical 1950s like family at the time.
Yeah.
But then towards the end of the issue, a bomb goes off in his town, and he's like running. He gets in the house and he's like getting in the basement. Everyone like, we don't know what the fuck's going on. And a bomb hits his house, and the house blows up. And then he wakes up still in the basement, and his kids are like shaking him awake. And it's like, Dad, wake up. He wakes up and goes outside, and the world is just like a wasteland kind of thing around the house.
Mm-hmm.
And he walks out and he's like shouting, hello, hello. And then he gets surrounded by soldiers, and they're like, not another step, commie. So it feels like, yeah, it was really good. Like, I think it's selling out because I had to pay like about $12 for it on eBay.
$12.
This is going a different direction. Like at first, it kind of sounded like you were describing the start of Blast from the Past.
No, it feels like a Twilight Zone issue. Feels like a Twilight Zone episode a little bit, or like something from a Philip K. Dick book.
Yeah, but that hello reminds me of is that Day of the Dead? Where the guys
yes. Hello. Is there anyone
out there?
Hello. Oh,
that is also the start to a great Gorillaz song.
Yes, it is. Thank you for noting that. Sean.
Yes. Hello.
You said Philip K. Dick.
Yes.
This is based on a Philip K. Dick story.
Oh, okay.
That's hilarious that you didn't know that and you made that connection.
I didn't.
Nice.
That's really funny.
Oh, man. Okay, well, maybe I have to go out and get this one because I didn't see any copies. That's another one I didn't see.
Yeah, I didn't see this at all. Breakfast at Twilight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
definitely curious now.
Yeah, it was a good issue. Like,
all right.
I don't know if it's a 6 issue or I don't know what.
It seems like a short story, so who knows?
Yeah, let me look this up real quick.
Yeah.
I'll
pick that up.
I enjoyed this. And also I read Something is Killing the Children #15. Yeah.
Dude, I'm never going to get caught up on that.
This felt like the end of the sort of first act of the story.
Okay.
Like issues 1 to 15 have sort of been one whole story up until now. And this ended like this monster case in a small town and she's left the town.
Okay.
So this feels like this is a perfect time to catch up because
the world is growing. They're expanding the world of the comic.
Yeah, well, it's already done like a lot of world building, like a secret organization she was working for, what's creating the monsters. It's done a lot, but like, yeah, this feels like the end of the first act. Like she's now moving on to a different case.
Okay.
So if you wanted to binge it, this is a perfect time because you've got the whole story there.
Hell yeah.
Only the first 4 issues of Nuclear Family have been solicited, but it doesn't look like it's ending there.
Okay.
I think we should also note that this is an Aftershock comic.
Yes, it is.
Let's just hope they don't turn out to be superheroes like the other Aftershock comic I'm reading.
Nuclear bombs gave me strength.
That's going to be the plot of Geiger, isn't it?
Possibly.
Maybe.
That's coming out soon.
Yeah.
All right. Also, Two Moons came out this week, but I didn't get around to reading it.
I'll probably check it out at some point. I wanted to know about that one too.
Yeah,
I'll probably get around to reading it at some point, and I'll let you guys know what it's like.
We'll read it before it sells out everywhere.
Yeah, seriously.
I'll get right on it, Captain.
Yeah.
Shall we?
We've got a few things coming next week to look forward to.
I got one more. I got one more.
He's got one more.
I got one more.
Oh my god.
I got one more. The last one. This is the last one.
Uh-huh.
Coast Americana, number 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve
That's
Scroce.
your flag.
Dave Stewart. It could be. It's on the
1,
back.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 50 stars. Yes, that's how
Count to
much.
50. Oh man, I love this.
I remember there was one week when we were on the previous podcast when Josh didn't have a single book out, and now look at him with that.
It's
stack.
feast or famine. Feast or famine, man. We finally get like an origin story in this issue. The big bad guy that becomes president. He went on an expedition out of their giant bunker and he disappeared. Everyone disappeared like after a couple of days, the whole expedition, and he comes back 10 years later and I have a vision. I'm going to conquer the world.
Okay.
Pave it over and we'll conquer. So we get kind of the it's good to have the backstory. A bit of serendipity in encounters between people. It's kind of annoying, but yeah, still good.
Okay.
Cool.
Gonna keep reading. It's 6 issues, so
At this point,
there.
you may as well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, coming next week, we have Berserker #1 by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kindt from Boom Studios.
Shit, missed that one too.
Keanu. Breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking. I saw a funny. Wait, give me a second to Google this.
Nope, no seconds.
I'm just checking which way around it is. Why are you not telling me? You stupid.
I don't know, because I'm a dumb bitch.
Yeah, but anyway.
It was an interview with Keanu Reeves about Bill and Ted, and they were like, "So is it difficult to get Bill's distinctive voice back after all this time?" And he was just there like, "I played Ted." That just made me laugh.
Yeah.
Yes, we've got Berserker with Keanu. There's also a X-Men event or mini-series or something starting now. Demon Days #1 by
That's
Peach
Peach
Momoko.
Momoko. I'm definitely gonna get that.
Okay, is it a series or is it a one-shot? Or...
It's a small series. It's a Peach
Okay.
Momoko's like Japanese style story.
Yeah, the cover looks interesting.
The interior art looks fucking badass.
Yeah. We also have Noctera #1 by Scott Snyder and Tony
pick it up.
Daniels.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This is going to be the sort of make or break series for Scott Snyder for me because his recent stuff has been putting me off a lot.
Fair.
So this is going to be the tiebreaker of whether he's a writer I continue to follow.
Okay.
But
We
yeah,
will
then we
decide
also...
next week.
Exactly. Stay tuned, folks. We also have a lot of new DC stuff launching next week, which is very exciting for me. And I'm sure you guys as well. Don't look too excited.
Look at it.
Yeah. We have Infinite Frontier #0, which is kind of a big issue launching everything.
I'll pick it up, of course.
Yeah. Then we also
Fine.
have Batman 106, Swamp Thing #1. Batman 106 by James Tynion IV, Swamp Thing #1 by Ram V, Suicide Squad #1 by Robbie Thompson, Crime Syndicate #1 by Andy Schmidt. And is that all of them?
For DC.
Yes, that's all the new DC #1s coming out next week that are launching from it. But yeah, this is the beginning of the new sort of initiative at DC.
Yeah.
I hope it's good.
Mm.
I really do.
We'll see. We also have Firepower #9.
Firepower.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how this story arc is going to end. This seems interesting.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this earlier when we were Sean and I were discussing this earlier about Oblivion Song ending at 36, and Firepower and Die 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 is all that Kirkman has left. I mean, Outcast ends in one issue as well.
Yeah, it's going to be ending. It actually should have come out already, shouldn't have?
It comes out in a couple of weeks, I think.
A couple of weeks. That's like an extra 3. That's fucking weird. This
I don't
better be a
know.
really big issue, man. I'll tell you.
It
I'll
is.
tell you what.
It is a big issue.
I'll tell you
It keeps
what.
getting it's not coming out till the end of March. It just keeps
Are
getting.
you fucking kidding me?
No, wait, no. Oh, that's book 4. Yeah, it just keeps getting resolicited. March 31st,
Motherfucker.
and it is. It doesn't say how many pages, but it's the series finale. I think it's supposed to be a double-sided issue.
Fucking better be, bro. Fucking
Yeah.
better be, or else I'm coming.
But we were trying to figure out, how long does it feel like Firepower will run? Does it feel like a 36, a 48, a 100?
It doesn't feel like it's got the same longevity as Walking Dead or Invincible.
Which is frustrating.
I'd say
Yeah.
within 50.
It's not slow. It doesn't have the slow burn of Outcast.
No, it's a very fast-moving story, which makes me think maybe less than 30.
Okay.
I don't know. It could be longer.
Because he seems to go
50.
in like 12 issue increments.
Maybe 36 then. I don't know. I don't see it going on for a long time, though. Well, that is still a long time in comics, but not in Kirkman terms.
Yeah. Kirkman moves real fast. Invincible moved extremely fast, and that still went for 144 issues.
Very true. Like it
fast. There were still breaks.
No, I mean in the story, it moves really fast. Yeah. It's a fast-moving story. They don't linger on a lot of stuff. So maybe this goes for a while.
Yeah, they could introduce more stuff.
I'm thinking maybe Kirkman's got something else coming down the line if he's
he's definitely got stuff in the works.
He has to, because I'm not reading Die.
He was working on Firepower for years before it actually came out.
Yeah.
Because he said him and Samney have been working on it since, I want to say, 2017, 2018.
That's too long. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, because they had that like oversized prologue issue as well. That was like 140 pages.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And
okay.
That was an extra 5 issues, maybe.
Yeah, they had it like they had
3,
like a
4,
number of issues built up before they even solicited the first one.
I'll tell you what you guys need to read, and I'm asking you to read this when you get the chance to. Please, seriously.
No.
Brubaker.
What
Anything
Brubaker?
by Brubaker. Okay.
The new Brubaker books that are coming out. He's making a new series of noir books. I think they're called Reckless.
Creator name number 1, Brubaker.
Yeah.
Do you want Charles Brubaker, Denver Brubaker, Jason Brubaker, Elijah Brubaker?
Thomas Brubaker, Edison Brubaker.
All right.
Yeah, I need to.
Because he's doing
the
a sequel to that
at some point. Yeah,
he's making a sequel to that, and then another sequel. Like he's got this planned out. And
it's a trilogy.
This is a really good book. I enjoyed it.
I will
the
get
Captain
around to it at some
America
point.
Omnibus.
I'll kill you.
Kill or Be Killed is one of my favorite series I've ever read by Brubaker and Phillips.
Gold.
Yeah.
Shall we cut it off here?
Yes.
Oh yeah. We got to get also coming out this week. We have to get Girls Splaining, a sort of memoir. It's a hardcover.
What is it?
It's a comic.
Really, you're selling it to me. Thanks. All right. Well, that's our show. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for supporting us. If you're watching this on YouTube, smash that like button, hit that subscribe bell, whatever the hell it is. You're going to find it over here or over here. Maybe down there. I don't know where it's going to be, but it's going to be somewhere around here. But thank you very much for.
Brian Edward Hill has a #1 from AWA coming out next week.
I like Brian Hill. I'll check that out. What's it called?
Chariot.
Okay.
The cover looks like a 2003 PlayStation 2 game.
Okay.
Sorry
if
to
you
interrupt.
are
Breaker,
okay.
Stitcher, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast.
Please go on.
All podcast apps. We're sponsored by Anchor. It's the easiest and fastest way to make a podcast.
Yes, it is. Anchor.fm is the absolute easiest way you can get started on making your very first podcast, and you can do so today. It does not cost you anything at all. In fact, they're going to pay you to make that podcast. All they ask is that you give them a shout out every once in a while and let them know, like we're doing right now, because they distribute all of the podcast information on all of the informations. Then you can link your RSS feed and your YouTube video feeds to the Anchor.fm websites, and then it distributes it. And then you're like, oh yeah, I'm easy. I'm lazy. I'm an American. I'm not going to make the effort to actually put this work out here. I want things done easily for me. Come on. Now, if you are listening to us on Spotify, Breaker, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all of the podcasts, you can do us a favor, share us. Give us a comment, give us a like, give us a share, give us a follow. Most importantly, give us $1. And listen, cults aren't easy. These are expensive times. I have to spend a lot of time setting things up. I have a new set of knives that I just got, which is
Use
really
on his
great
blood
for my.
boys.
Cutco knives.
Thank you for knowing exactly what I was just gonna say. I'm looking forward to getting some of these hooks. But listen, the thing that I've heard the most about is about like just draining those blood boys and then just drinking in that sweet, sweet blood and bathing in it, you know, and just giving yourself a little wash around. I end up looking like a beet afterwards. So help me afford some new soaps to wash off the blood boys' blood.
I don't think there's any, lycopene in blood like you would have in tomatoes.
No, but actually blood will cause your teeth to turn blue. Don't ask me why I know that. And
Wait, this is interesting because the
I think
Queen's
it
teeth
causes
aren't
your
blue.
teeth to turn red.
no, it actually turns your teeth blue, and it's because of the hemoglobin. It either turns your teeth blue or green. Typically, you can find.
No, my teeth are still white.
Okay. If you are seeing us on YouTube, please give us a comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about next. We would love to have a special episode dedicated to you, the listener, about what you want us to talk about next. If you are finding us on Patreon and you do want to support us, give us that $1, give us that $5, give us that $10. If you support us from the $1 level higher, then we will have you, get a nice, we'll comment on your socks and how great your fashion is. We won't look at you, obviously. We don't want to,
girl.
but we'll give you a nice little, small compliment. If you give us the $5 or higher level, then we'll have you, send you a sticker that I found on the street, maybe with some bubble gum. It could be something
hey, girl,
I found.
I like how you have all or most of your teeth.
If you have some of those teeth, send me a picture. I'm definitely interested. If you have no less than 5, please. If you support us at the $10 or higher level, then you can come on the show and we will have a conversation with you about what you're reading, what you're watching right now. We're a comic book podcast, so we're going to be talking about things we're reading right now. And we will tell you about why your opinions are stupid and wrong, and that's the reason why your grandmother used a old belts on you as a child, and that's why you were locked in the closet. But in fact, that's the reason why Josh was commenting on the closet earlier this episode, is because that's where you belong. Yep. So thank you. Support us on Patreon. Give us that like, give us that share, give us that follow, give us $1, give us your money, because cults are not cheap. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching. You can find me on Twitter at TCH Brown. Sean?
You can find me on Twitter at SeanMore747.
And you can find Josh in your nightmares. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching.
Look at that face. That's Kruger there.
Face only a mother could love.
Not
face
even
only
her.
A mother could beat. Take care, guys.